Welcome, everyone, to TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. I'm your host, TJ, and with me here, as always, is the Grumpy Old Man. They say there's no shame in his game because he's always the same.
That's me.
And with us here, we've got the king of comments, co-host of the show, the magnificent Son X.
X time, baby. Let's get it.
It's X time, baby. Let's get it. For those who are new to the show, new to the channel, we welcome you here with open arms. This is a once a week, all sports live stream podcast, whatever you want to classify it as, pretty much where myself, Grumpy, and Son X talk anything and everything sports on the channel. So, that's NFL, that's NBA, that's MLB, that's college athletics, that's NHL, that's European football. We talk literally anything and everything on this show, regarding sports at least. So if you're new to the channel and you like the content that we produce, there's a few things that I encourage that you do. I encourage that you subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss out on any of our future episodes. And hit the little like button. If you hit the like button, it helps the algorithm. It juices the algo. It gets the live stream out to the masses. And it lets myself, Grumpy, and Senex know that you like the content that we're producing. Today, quite a bit to talk about in the world of sports. A few blockbuster trades that happened in the MLB as well as the NBA. We are still smack dab in the middle of finals. I don't want to call it finals week because it goes for more than a week, but we're right smack dab in the middle of the NHL and NBA Finals. And then we're going to hit this kind of lull time period where it's the dog days of summer. We're 12 weeks away from the start of the NFL. So, there's quite a bit to talk about. I think there's no better, maybe jumping and talking a little MLB action first. I mean, this is a trade that I think surprised a lot of people. Rafael Devers has been traded from the Boston Red Sox here to the San Francisco Giants. What are your initial reactions?
For me, it should not have been a surprise. Rafael Devers has been odds with the team since they signed Alex Bregman. They promised he's going to be the third baseman there. They signed him to a 10-year, $313 million contract last year.
Yep.
And they said he played third base. They signed Alex Bregman. And so Devers was pissed. It doesn't matter to him that he was the worst third baseman in baseball the last couple of years. The absolute worst out in the field. He's fat, out of shape, but he can still hit. So they said, well, we want to make you the designated hitter. He sulked in spring training. He eventually acquiesced and said, okay, he'll be a DH. Tristan Casas got hurt, out for the season, I want to say maybe a month and a half ago. They approached him to see if he wanted to play, if he would be amenable to playing first base, and he said no. He said it had been too much for him to pick up a glove. You told me that I was not going to have to field the position anymore this season, so he didn't want to do it. As far as I'm concerned, ownership went out to meet him in Kansas City, and, supposedly they smoothed things over, but you knew that wasn't going to end well. You can't have your star player sulking like that. Like I said, I think he's a good hitter, but he's really let himself get out of shape. They got nothing for him, absolutely nothing. But they got his contract off the books, and they got rid of the locker room cancer.
That's what I was about to say. We're going to talk about the return, at least on that side. Now, again, I think you're right. The writing was clear on the wall. This is dating back to May the 8th. When Rafael Devers explains why he's not willing to play first base. These are his own words. He says, I know I'm a ball player, but at the same time, they can't expect me to play every single position out there. In spring training, they talked to me and basically told me to put away my glove, that I wasn't going to play any other position but DH. So right now, I just feel like it's not an appropriate decision by them to ask me to play another position. It was a GM that I spoke with. I'm not sure what he has with me. He played ball, and I would like to think he knows that changing positions like that isn't easy. I'll tell you one thing. This is a guy I'd never want on my team. Absolutely never.
Absolutely not. And just think about it. Changing positions. Like I said, well, what if they asked me to play outfield? Okay, dude, you're too fat to play outfield. You were too fat to play third base. Maybe you could get away with it at first.
Time to step up and try to help your team. Do anything you can to help support the team, but he's just a lazy, fat bastard who won't put forth any effort.
In it for the money, that's it.
Well, I mean, but think about it. Boston didn't sign Mookie Betts. He wanted to be there long term. They played it cheap. They wound up trading the Dodgers for a very minimal return.
Yeah.
Xander Bogaerts walked in free agency. He wanted to stay. This guy wanted to stay. They signed him. They figured, well, we can't do it 3 times in a row because the fan base is unhappy. Boston's been a middling to below average team last number of years, right?
Yes.
Honestly, since their last World Series win.
Yep.
And the direction of the team, they have a new GM in Craig Breslow, who used to play Major League Baseball, but he's another analytics geek like Claire Bloom, who they had in there previously from Tampa. I'm sorry. These games are played by human beings. Not everything you can put into a spreadsheet and expect it to work out. Like I said, this was a good move by them moving him, but I mean, they got nothing for him. I mean, we're looking at the return now. Jordan Hicks is a former relief pitcher for St. Louis.
He sucks.
And
he's got like an ERA of like 6 something, by the way, this year. He's been a very subpar pitcher.
They've converted him into a starter, and he's shown flashes that he can be a good pitcher, but all right, he doesn't blow my skirt up. Kyle Harrison. Now, and let me just say one thing about San Francisco's pitching. It's really good. They have a really good young pitching staff. But Kyle Harrison was a starter last year, and he was outperformed by numerous players this year. So the only reason he's pitching now was because they had injuries to Justin Verlander. So he was going to be going back down to the minors or, become a bullpen arm, a long reliever at some point. So he was expendable. James Tibbs, he's just he projects as a platoon against right-handed batting. That's it.
Oof.
That's what he's not even a full-time player. I don't know anything about Jose Bello.
It is okay. It is worth noting that James Tibbs was the 13th overall pick. Again, baseball drafts are different than every other sort of draft, but he was the 13th overall pick, drafted from Florida State back in 2024. So I will at least notate that. Again, like I'm not okay. He's only hitting this year 245, which is not good, in high A ball at 24 years old.
He cannot hit
22
he cannot
years
hit
old.
left-handed pitching. He does not hit left-handed pitching.
Yikes. I'm sorry. I'll let you continue, though.
I don't know if they have to eat any salary or if San Francisco is taking on all that salary. I would hope from their perspective that San Francisco is taking on all that salary because what they got was a nothing return for him. He can hit. He absolutely can hit. So there's no doubt about that. But this is a get rid of a guy because he's a freaking problem. That's what this was.
Complaining.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's a bad look. It looks like organizational incompetence is what it looks like. It's about
Alex
as bad as it gets.
Brand is taking on 250, I guess, of the contract.
That's
Say that
it.
again.
250 of the contract.
Million. That's it.
So how much is Boston?
It was like $343 million. I think was what the total contract was worth.
313. It was 313.5. That's what it was for 10 years.
So 63 million Boston's taking on.
They got nothing. They got nothing for him. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, that's not good.
And we don't know. Remember, he's been under this contract now. I think this is his second year under this deal. So I don't know how that works out.
He's making 313 over 10 years is what Alex said.
But he's already been through a year of that contract. This is the second year of it. I don't know. I'll be interested to see when we see the financials, the full
Long story
detail.
short, they're going to be on the hook for some of the dollars. That's all you need to worry about.
Okay.
Not a good move. Not a good move. I mean, a colossal blunder by the Red Sox. Again, this is just after a time period the Red Sox swept the Yanks.
And I'll tell you what, the Red Sox have been a sub 500 team this year, but they seem like they own the Yankees for the most part.
They've won 5 of the 6 matchups against the Yankees so far this year.
Yeah. What does it say about the Yankees?
Oh,
Aaron
I'll
Judge
tell you
ain't
one
that
thing.
good.
Boone is a colossal blunder. Have you seen what's going on with like Jason Dominguez and just like Boone is just completely incompetent? It's about as bad as it gets. I'm shocked. I don't care what the record is. players are so lax. They're just mental errors left and right on the field. It's bad. It's bad. You're never going to win anything with Boone as a manager ever.
I might be talking on my butt, but I believe they're like second place in the American League, maybe first. I don't know where they fit with Detroit. I know those two are neck and neck for best record in the American League this year. I mean, they're good. They can put runs up this last couple of weeks, notwithstanding. But to me, they're a one-person team. You lose Juan Soto, now it's just Judge again.
Well, the issue I've got more is just like things like this. You've got a rally going. It's first and second. You know, you're top of the seventh, 2 outs, and you're like, okay, we're down by 2 runs. We're getting a little bit of a rally going, and this is the lack of attention that you see. It's just hard to fathom.
Trent Grisham swings and misses, and it's 2-2. Throw goes back to second, down to third. That's the inning. Dominguez caught napping. Narvaez makes another play.
Yikes.
Carlos Narvaez.
By the way, how the hell is he not reaming the shit out of Dominguez?
He's a cuck. I mean, we've said that about Aaron for how long?
I'll put it in slow-mo.
You got to slow it up because it was just
I will when you could see it. Don't worry. I'll put it in slow-mo when I show the replay. Okay, here's the replay. I'll put it in half speed. It's just like, how little attention. Look at this, Dominguez. Look at this.
Just asleep at the switch.
What the fuck? What are you doing, buddy?
Totally asleep. Totally asleep out there.
Oh, my God.
I mean, he was what, like 40 foot or 35 foot off of second base? I mean, or even if it's 20, I'm just trying to look at it and gauge. Even if it's 25, it's like, dude, you're out in no man's land out there.
Caught asleep, caught not paying attention, no attention to detail.
Can I just say one other thing? I hate when the Red Sox wear those yellow uniforms.
I hate them too because I don't know who they are originally when I look at them. Like yellow.
You think Athletics?
Yellow and blue. It's like they're the Red Sox. I don't see yellow and blue in there at all in that name.
I just love how he's still bouncing around. Just dude, he's caught completely.
I don't know where he's
flat-footed.
Looking. He's just not paying any attention.
Completely. Look how flat-footed he's caught. Easily standing, completely flat-footed. Look at this.
He looks like the United States players on the bench when they were playing against Sweden, looking in the crowd at the girl.
Look at this.
He's still standing. Oh, geez, what am I going to do now?
Oh man, the on the second. That's not good.
Just
so I mean, things like that. I mean, like and like okay, the reaction from Boone says it all. Look at this.
If Billy Martin was managing, that kid would he maybe would send him down.
James F says TJ showed today's Yankees pickoff. It was even worse.
Oh God, I'll pull it up. But I mean, like
Yankees got shut out again today. Brian Bello shut them out. Max Fried has been great for the Yankees this year. I mean, what an acquisition from Atlanta. I didn't think he'd be this good. But I mean, he only gave up 2 runs today, and they get shut out. Brian Bello shuts them out.
Oh my God! See, like this again. It's another one of these, like just zero situational awareness. Here it is to paint the picture. 1-0 game for Boston. This pitcher's obviously laboring through not even 3 completed innings. He's at 61 pitches. It's a 2-1 count. There's 2 outs. Men on first and second.
They do something special, and there's a pickoff.
Oh.
Bad base running by the Yankees. You can't do that with 2.
Picked off again. Picked off from second base again.
You cannot make the final out of an inning at third base. You just can't do it.
2 games in a row. 2 fucking games in a row.
Who was that? Volpe?
I don't know.
It's like, come on.
Treating these kids way too nice. Way too nice.
I don't know what Volpe's number is.
22. Whoever's 22
so it's
is.
Volpe. I don't know. I don't know if that's Volpe or not. I don't know.
Ben Rice. That's okay. Ben Rice.
Okay, Ooh. Ben Rice. Why is Ben Rice that far off of second base with 2 outs? You're going to need a base hit to score you anyway. What are you thinking? I don't get it. But what also does that do? Bello wound up, I think, going six innings today. So that means that he doesn't throw. He had 61 pitches thrown. Well, guess what? You're able to pick a guy off second base that gets you out of the inning. You're not laboring trying to get with first and second, get somebody, get that final third out. Just picking off a guy like that. So it extends him and he's able, to go 6 innings and pitch a shutout. Aaron Boone is a problem. They gave him the extension in the offseason, which I thought was just a horrible idea. Cashman gets an extension. They just, to me, they're not contenders.
No.
I mean, okay, might they make it to the World Series? Yep. But are they going to beat the National League team? No.
It's going to be, I'm telling you again, it's going to be the Dodgers who win it all again.
I think that the Dodgers are the toughest team to beat. But I will tell you this. I mean, just the Yanks. The Yankees, just, again, it's just like you look at these squandered years of good players in a big market. Just need more. You need more.
You had an opportunity. You have Aaron Judge on your team. You picked up Juan Soto. And then you wanted to pay him, but you didn't want to pay him enough. Whatever. At this point, does it really matter? But what do you do? I mean, I kind of liked what they did in the offseason, picking up Cody Bellinger, getting Freed. I mean, I didn't have a problem with what they did in the offseason when they didn't get Soto, but Aaron Judge is just a poor manager. And Cody Bellinger has what? Another year left on his deal, and then he can walk as a free agent. How old is – I mean, Aaron Judge is what, 33?
Cody Bellinger's 29.
Okay. How old is Aaron Judge? 33, 32, 33?
I'll pull it up.
I mean, how many more years does he have left at this level? 2 or 3?
He's 33.
Okay. So what, he's got maybe 3 years left at this level? I mean, he's going to slow down at some point in time. He's not going to be playing like this when he's 40 years old.
I will tell you this. At this level, I don't know if he'll ever have this level again. I'm sorry, I'm blasting through things. Okay. So entering June 14th, now we're June 15th, the highest average by a player with 20-plus home runs. Again, he's got the highest batting average in the history of the MLB. Again, a random arbitrary date. I get it. Don't jump on it. But again, I thought it was interesting. The highest average of a player with 20-plus home runs entering June 14th. Aaron Judge, 26 home runs, hitting .390, ahead of Mickey Mantle in 1956, ahead of Babe Ruth in 1930 and 1926, and ahead of Ivan Rodriguez. I was shocked in 2000. Ivan Rodriguez's numbers were so damn good at this point of the season.
Steroids were really good back then. He was absolutely on the juice back when he played.
Everybody was, but Pudge Rodriguez, I mean, I tell you, there's some guys they like and some guys they crucify for the steroids and some guys they never cared.
Yeah, and you're wasting him. And here's the thing, Aaron Boone is just a crummy manager. Sorry.
He is.
Sorry.
He is. X, let's get through some comments here because we got a few more baseball and then we're going to jump over to
I don't know if he's afraid to discipline people. I don't know.
Loser. He's a loser.
James Farrell says, congrats to JG Spawn winning the U.S. Open. Did you see the putt that he won the U.S. Open on?
No, I did not.
It was like a 65-foot putt.
That's nuts.
For a birdie to win the U.S. Open.
It is quite far. Let's put this up. I'll just show you the frame because
That's
I'm not sure
Wasn't Burns in the lead?
I don't know. And usually I like to watch.
Let's get up.
I mean, this is that's like this 21 yards. 22, almost 22-yard putt. Think about that. It's a hell of a long putt.
It's a far putt.
And this is a really tough golf course, Oak Brook.
I mean, okay, just to look at everybody's ranking in the final round, even +1, +2 are your top 3.
Oakmont. I'm sorry, Oakmont. Boom. I'm telling you what.
It's raining incredible. Too. My God.
It was raining. They played in the rain yesterday. I remember Johnny Miller, the last round at Oakmont back in 1973, I think it was, shot a 63 on the final round to win the U.S. Open. It's still, in my opinion, the greatest final round in U.S. Open history for an individual. I'm not saying there weren't battles between golfers, which were more exciting, but for an individual accomplishment, that Johnny Miller 63 was sensational. Sensational on the final round. And it was at Oakmont, too. So, I mean, that's a tough golf course to play. Really tough.
Yeah,
Congrats.
I think the rough or something was like
Well,
really high, the grass.
Well, it's really high, and they also have what they call the church pews and the keys. By the way, they have the and also the big sand hole, the big
Sand traps.
Yeah, well, there's a really deep sand trap. You get lost in there, you might be gone for a week, and you have
Headed to Bunker Resort.
and then you have the piano keys where they have grass with high grass in the actual bunkers, and then the church pews, which is another set of bunkers where they have it looks like church pews. I mean, it's really really tough.
Okay, we trust you. The other thing I wanted to put up here, at least with, well, I mean, like when it gets down to talking about how the grass is on the golf, I'm like, oh man.
Well, it affects.
I'm just saying, it's a really difficult golf course.
Why do you think? Look at the scores of the Masters and compare it to that course.
I just said that.
But the Masters is the same course every year. The U.S. Open is different every year,
but it's part of the tour.
That is a notoriously tough course to play.
Yeah.
Oakmont. Notoriously tough. Some are easier than others, but usually the U.S. Open has extremely difficult courses to play on.
Yeah,
that's why it's the U.S. Open. And the U.S. Open is a tournament I usually watch. I did not watch it today, probably because none of the big names were playing and I was doing other things. But usually I watch the U.S. Open and the Masters. Those are two tournaments I usually watch.
I wanted to put this up here, and I think Drew sent this to me. He said Jason Dominguez bats .280 against right-handed pitchers, and he bats .142 against left-handed pitchers. Aaron Boone, with his infinite wisdom, decided to start Dominguez against one of the toughest lefties in the league and to bench him against a rookie right-handed pitcher, making his first start at Yankee Stadium. Make it make sense. I mean, simple things like that have to drive fans. It does. It should, because it's just like, okay, when somebody at home sitting on the couch could say, why are we doing that? It doesn't make any sort of sense. And they're just, again, poor managerial, exhibit A, B, and C.
All right. For me, Jason Dominguez, you should, if you believe in him, he should be playing every day.
I agree.
He's not a platoon guy, and he's still young. You let him learn how to hit the lefties. You have somebody work with him on that. If he's just, swinging for the fences all the time, maybe you need to adjust your swing against lefties. Learn him to make more contact. I mean, the OPS numbers are hideous. Again, I mean, 520 something against left-handed slugs. That's just not good enough.
The other thing I wanted to mention, we talk about how, the pitch clock has really changed MLB games. There is a point, and I didn't know this, back in 2013 and 2014, that was the peak. Oh, I guess not even the peak. I'm sorry. 2017 and 2021 was the peak. 67% of all MLB games went 3 or more hours.
Yep.
Wow.
But you go back to 2003 though, showing the numbers.
It was nowhere near that many.
That's right. The game started. It really started where everybody's just looking to get walks. They're taking pitches, trying to get pitches in deep counts, and they're just swinging for the fences. And now you're seeing with the pitch clock has been really advantageous. Back when you looked at in the 70s and 80s and even into the 90s, guys were just getting the ball and they were throwing it. They weren't just standing on the mound forever and ever. The pitch clock's been a good thing for Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I think so too. I just the other item I wanted to mention, I'm sorry, we're doing a lot of baseball heavy at the beginning because there's a lot of baseball news. Andrew McCutchen, did you happen to see his tweet here recently and what he was talking about?
No.
I did not.
Okay, so I'll let you watch this clip first. There's a ball that was smacked by Juan Soto. It's like the ball just died. Well, McCutchen tweeted out, he said, I was told by a rep for the MLB that the balls are indeed different this year. They stated higher seams, which produces more drag on the baseball, causing baseballs to not travel as far as they should. When asked why, I was told every baseball is hand sewn and no baseball is the same. Okay, first off, every baseball in the MLB is hand sewn.
No, they're not.
That's what this rep said. I could not believe that either.
They go through a machine. Have you ever watched how it's made?
Yes, I know they're going through a machine, but I thought the fact that they were trying to claim that these were hand sewn was just absolutely maniacal.
The only thing they do by hand is put that special mud on them. That is it.
Think about
after they're done.
Think about how many baseballs are used in Major League Baseball every year?
They're hand sewing them all, and there's 162 games.
They're
Each team plays 162 games a year.
Guys will absolutely tweak with the balls before they go out there, do certain stuff to them. They absolutely do, but they're
Sure.
not hand sewn.
Well, they're not doing anything with the balls unless they can do it when they have it in their glove. The umpires are the ones who are in control of all the balls.
Well, they inspect them before, but
No, the umpires have all the balls. The teams don't have balls.
I thought the teams have balls. They're individual. The pitchers have balls.
No.
Yeah, it does. How long did you play baseball for, X?
We brought our own balls, so that's why I
Okay.
assumed that they had their own balls.
What
This
happens?
is the MLB, X.
They get the balls from wherever they ship
The
them. how many
MLB.
boxes.
The
How
MLB
many-
provides the balls, and then the ump distributes them throughout the game.
I mean, if you could actually go in and look to see what's the average use, how many baseballs are used in the average Major League Baseball game, I think, TJ, that would be great. Maybe that's just something you could look up.
100. Well, we're not going to finish this quote here.
Well, I just want to talk about it. I'll talk about it if you can bring it up.
I'll look
Just-
it up.
I just think, they get the boxes. I don't know how many boxes of balls they get pre-game, but they do have this mud that comes from some type
Kentucky.
of
96 to 120 or
Okay.
baseballs are used.
So let's say 100.
in a typical MLB game.
Let's say 100. And you
Just
have
like I thought.
okay, and you have what, 30 teams, so 15 times 162. Right? That would be how many games are actually played. 15 times 162 times 100. How many balls-
243,000 baseballs.
Okay. Did they have how many little old ladies do they have sewing these balls if they're hand sewed?
Hey, 243,000.
That's assuming that zero mistakes were made while sewing these balls as well, that they have not a single one that they had to redo or to edit or to adjust because an old lady put a stitch in the wrong spot or missed a spot or put it in a different area. Like, oh, that's not my best work. I've got to pitch that baseball. They've got a whole bunch of trash bags of used baseballs that have not been stitched perfectly. I just don't buy it.
Now, I saw them doing it for football, and I could see them doing that for football, honestly.
a lot fewer balls.
Right. And
Does
they
the
show,
NFL provide those?
Yes,
yeah,
NFL,
the
has
NFL provides all the balls. You can get them ahead of time and do whatever
Yes.
you want to them to get them ready. But they're all made by, one company is a bunch of little old ladies sitting behind a thing sewing these balls together. But you how many footballs do you use a game really in football?
Well, you
3 or
only
4
play
per
you only play
team.
17 you only play 17 regular season games a year, so a lot less.
Right. I just found that kind of a little disingenuous, saying that there's a bunch of they didn't say little old ladies, but I'm assuming there are a bunch of little old ladies sewing these baseballs together. I just don't think that that's done by hand. Sorry.
And continuing to read here from McCutcheon, he says here, when I asked if there's something that could be done about correcting the current performance of this year's baseball, I was told there was nothing that can be done about this season, but they're working hard on getting to the bottom of why the seams are higher. So yeah, you're not wrong, Ben.
Every year they say, oh, this is a rabbit ball thing, and they can never do anything about it. Why not? Because if you're stitching those balls by hand, you should be able to make alterations on the fly. Because those little old ladies got to be working year round. I bet you don't even get Christmas or New Year's or 4th of July off. They're out there grinding, sewing up these balls by hand. They're out there grinding every day. I don't know how much they get paid. Maybe $5, I don't know, $1 a ball. Who knows? I don't know how it works.
I just cannot believe that they're saying that they hand stitch. Anyway, it just sounds like an absolute
They
joke. I'm glad that
changed
Andrew
the ball.
McCutcheon tweeted that out.
Okay, here's what they do. They change the balls every year based on if people are complaining or not. Oh, there's too many home runs. You're minimizing this, that. Okay, well, then they did. Oh, there's not enough home runs. Okay, well, next year they'll do another overcorrection. You'll see a lot more home runs, probably.
You know what? They should want the balls to be as juiced as humanly possible, so
They're
you
going to
see
start
more
using
home
tennis
runs.
balls out there.
Golf balls. Let them use golf balls.
Yeah, right.
Oh man! Oh goodness gracious!
You're going
I
to use
wanted to-
drivers up at that.
Finishing up a few last few bits I have on the baseball section. I thought this was odd. Zach Wheeler plans on retiring once his contract expires at the end of 2027. It's not weird to announce a potential retirement 2 years in the future. I'm planning on retiring my contracts over 2 years from now.
How old is
I don't
Zach
know. I just
Wheeler?
He's old. He's older.
34?
No, he's got to be older than that, Grump.
I don't know. I remember him pitching for the Mets as a prospect. Boy, talk about the mistake letting him go.
I always told you he was one of my favorite prospects they had. He's 35.
He's 35. Well, I mean, he's made enough money. I just think, you know what? You pitch until you can't do it anymore. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be. But what does it say about him as a person? Does he really care about winning? Or
oh my God, he's a hell of a pitcher.
I do think he's a hell of a
did we trade Zach Wheeler away, or did we let him walk in free agency?
I think they let him walk, and he was picked up for a song by Philadelphia.
Yep, and he's been outstanding ever since.
He has been really, really good. Whatever he couldn't figure out with the Mets, he absolutely did. Actually, he was pretty good with the Mets too.
He was good with the Mets, but they just stupid again.
They were cheap. They played it cheap
decisions.
with him. He didn't break the bank to go to Philadelphia either, that first contract. I don't believe he did. The second one he's getting paid. And I don't regret. I'm just saying, man, when you're already talking about retiring, that means you're not talking about winning. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, well, I'm looking here. Zach Wheeler, was he included in a trade for Carlos Beltran? Yeah. Oh no, this was Giants acquire outfielder Carlos Beltran and Zach Wheeler. Oh gosh, we traded Beltran and Zach Wheeler for who? I don't know. I look at this up here. Gosh, in exchange for I don't know. I got to look. I got to do some digging on this. Maybe Zach Wheeler was not always a Met prospect. Is what it's got to be because he pitched quite a year for the Mets. Yeah, maybe he just walked.
Alexander says they didn't re-sign him. He signed with Philly as a free agent, the Will Ponds, and then he said, yes, he did.
Just, my God. Yeah.
The Will Ponds, they played it cheap. They played it cheap. I believe they played it cheap on that, though.
He signed a 5-year deal for $118 million.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that people thought, man, he was absolutely worth that. I thought I thought they should have absolutely tried to re-sign him.
Well, just think about down the future. And again, it's different ownership, but it's like, think about how many dollars they threw at guys like Justin Verlander and how many dollars they threw at Max Scherzer, where it's just like, you could have just had Zach Wheeler the whole time and it would have been a better solution.
Okay.
Anyway.
This is transit. He was drafted by the Giants in the first round in 2009. In 2011, he was traded by the Giants to the Mets for Carlos Beltran and cash.
Yep.
He got free agency in 2019, and he's been there ever since with Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I mean, but you think about it, that first year in 2019, he had a really good year in 2019. You could see he was starting to learn how to figure it out. Then he goes to Philadelphia, and he's a freaking Cy Young candidate every year. Maybe they just, the Mets are really good with pitchers. I just remember being really, really surprised that they let him walk because I thought he was really good at that stage.
I did want to bring up one more item here before we jump into comments. Mike Trout over his last 15 games is hitting .350. The question here is, do you think Mike Trout still has a little bit left in the tank? The injuries obviously are the issues. How much more do you think Mike Trout has left in the tank?
X, do you want to tackle that one first?
Not a whole lot, if I'm being honest. He's injury prone. He gets hurt all the time now. I would say not a lot.
Okay. I think he's got a lot left in the tank, but I don't care if he's hitting .350 over his last 15 games. How long before he's hurt again? Look at how many games he's played in the last 5 or 6 years. I mean, he's always hurt. And just when you think, oh, it's safe to get back in the Mike Trout market, bam, he's hurt again.
He gets hurt.
I mean, just to let you know, the number of games that he's played since 2019. 2019, he played 134 games, right? That was his last MVP year, 2011 games. In 2020, he played 53 games. In 2021, 36
games. It is. Hold on. It is worth mentioning in 2020, they had the shortened season due to COVID. That is worth mentioning.
Okay, he played 53 games though.
Okay,
I don't know.
It wasn't a long year.
Okay,
wasn't it like 80-something game season or something like that?
I don't know. But even if it was an 80-game season, he still missed what? 30% of the season? Then in 2021, 36 games played. 2022, relatively healthy, 119 games played. Then it's been 82 games in 2023, 29 games last year, and 43 games this year. And we're already
only 60 games played per team in 2020.
Okay, so it was 60. So he only missed out.
He played almost the whole season. Simple.
You could say that was his last healthy season then, right? Pretty much. 119. You're missing, if you missed only playing 119 out of 162, you've missed quite a bit of time that season.
And I'm gonna let you know, if that year it was the full season, he would not have made it the full season.
He would not have. He's always hurt. He's always hurt. I still think there's plenty in the tank, but this year, what did they do? They moved him to right field because they didn't want him running as much in the outfield.
Would you not say, though, that he's finished if he can't stay on the field, though?
I think the question was, how much do you think he has left? Does he have any left in the tank? If he could stay healthy, I think he's got plenty left in the tank.
But that's my thing is, do you think he's got a lot left in the tank, the fact that he can't stay healthy?
Yeah, I just don't think he could stay healthy. It's not like he's up there striking out all the time. That means you're done. Okay. If you can't hit anymore, you're done. But he just hasn't been able to stay healthy relatively for the last 5 years.
Fair enough. X, let's jump in some comments here.
James Charles says Devers traded to the Giants. Big shocker. Already spoke on that one.
These are all just ones that I had starred from the beginning of the show. So
Thomas Anthony says, good evening, gents. Happy Father's Day, Grumpy. Thank you very much. All the best. And lads, I hope you took care of your dad today, deservedly so. Did you take care of your father today, boys?
Yeah, I did.
That's a no. Thank you.
I went over there and provided my presents to you.
He went over there and ate a dinner.
And he did. He ate cake. He ate a nice dinner. He used the toilet. He did not refill.
Hey, I was checking up on your pipes, man. I need to make sure that they were still running smoothly.
He drank water. He did not refill the water.
I drank water.
It was just a normal X day over here. He brought his dog over, let the dog piss in my front yard, even though he's under strict orders not to do that. He did it anyway. Then he tries to somehow rationalize his dog pissing in the middle of my lawn.
What's wrong with that, Grumpy? You don't like the dog peeing in your yard?
Absolutely not. I don't have a pet. It's not a piss or a shit zone. Sorry.
So what if I was to go out there, since you won't let me use the toilet?
I didn't say you couldn't use the toilet. I said you did.
You're complaining about me using the toilet.
The fact is, you should be taking dumps before you come over my house. As soon as you get here, he's got to take a dump. The dog,
it was not as soon as I got there. It was after I ate a meal.
Let me just tell you something. The dog comes over here. The first thing he does is eat and drink, because he looks like he's an Auschwitz dogs, because they don't feed or water that dog. He comes over here. All he does is eat and drink.
He gets a full bowl of food and water at all times.
Sure.
The food just tastes better at the Grumpy estate.
He ate the damn plastic container even.
Okay. The reason he ate the food was because we put bone broth in there for him.
Whatever. Tell your story walking. It's the same whenever you come over.
Yeah.
Johnny Mac.
Grump with the best T-shirt known to man. Auburn Tigers.
He says, Happy Father's Day, TJ and Grump. Thanks so much, Johnny Mac. And he said, Happy Father's Day to you and all the other fathers out there. And San Fran is going for it, says Johnny Mac.
They have been trying for the last number of years to get a big-time slugger. Remember, they went after Aaron Judge when he was a free agent. They went after Juan Soto. Who else did they try to acquire? That was another big name they tried to acquire. They've been looking for a big bat for a while. I mean, Rafi Devers. I mean, San Francisco has not had a guy hit 30 or more home runs, I think, since Barry Bonds in 2003.
Pablo Sandoval probably did.
He did not.
No, Pablo Sandoval absolutely did.
2003 was the last year the Giants had a 30 home run guy.
No shot. Okay, you're just wrong. Let me make sure I'm not speaking on my ass. Hold on one second here. Pablo Sandoval had to have more than 30.
Most people are used to that.
Yeah.
2003 was the last year they had a guy hit 30 more home runs for the team.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, 25 home runs. Wow. Sandoval's numbers weren't that good.
He was, who Sandoval reminds me of?
Devers.
Same guy.
Yeah, Devers, yeah. But yeah, I mean, Devers' numbers are a billion times better than this. I'm looking at it, I'm like, Pablo Sandoval's numbers were meh. He never hit more than 25 home runs in a season.
There you go.
To be a power hitter like that, it's just hard to believe.
You might as well bend over for the rest of the show and put your butt up to the microphone.
Yeah, okay. Here you go. Freedom Fun Adventure.
Happy and blessed Father's Day to all good dads, and heaven and on earth be the example. James Farrell
Absolutely.
says, Happy Father's Day, everyone. And that just goes from us, too. So Tom Santanelli goes, you gents alluded to it when he was drafted. The Bengals' first-round pick, problematic traits the night before the draft have manifested to a disaster situation going forward for the team and him. Cut him. Cut him. It was a dumb draft pick. It was a dumb draft pick at the time. The guy had never produced in college.
Yeah.
It was
Awful.
what I think we said that was like maybe the worst first-round draft pick this year. Certainly one of the top bad ones.
For being a DN for the SEC to have like less than 7 sacks or 5 sacks in your career was
4 sacks
7
his whole
sacks.
career. I thought it was 4 sacks his whole career. Might have been 7. I thought it was 4.
I think they need to remove rusher from the position name for him. You just edge.
I'm just you know what? I'm just putting him on the not report list. Don't pay him. Let him sit out. Maybe his career will be over. I'm not. Think about it. They drafted him so they could move on from Trey Hendrickson, right?
Yes. By the way, 4.5 sacks in 3 seasons, starting every single year.
That's hard.
That's
bad.
That's what a first round draft pick does as an edge defender.
I should be drafted.
Really, X? You
I know.
could have fallen into 4.5 sacks.
That's exactly right.
Look at that. I love that.
I
Cincinnati's
could have gotten a
unsigned.
concussion, hit in the head, and fell on somebody and got a sack.
Cincinnati's unsigned first-round draft pick, Shamar Stewart, now has left mandatory minicamp, per sources. Stewart has been attending team activities, but without a signed contract, and with the Bengals asking for certain clauses no longer.
Those contracts are all slotted.
It's by the league.
It's no, every spot has a slot. When one guy signs, the next guy signs for less. That's just the way it works. And it's just slotted. They are paid based, it's a sliding scale, but first round pick, if it's worth $1 million, well, the next guy's going to get 900, next guy's going to get 8. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's what I was saying. It's determined by the league, is it not?
No.
Based on what you're picked.
No. The league doesn't, it's whatever you get signed for. But they're like slotted. You're not going to see a guy at number 2 get paid
Making more than number 1 pick.
Right.
Okay, I'd always thought it was decided by the league.
Alexander says
By the way, real quick, there's a lot of rumors right now that potentially, if things continue to head on this path, he can just sit to opt out the entire 2025 NFL draft, and he can re-enter the draft in 2026.
Okay, where does he get picked in 2026? 4th round?
5th, 6th, 7th round.
Okay, I was going to say 4th or 5th round.
That's very charitable of you. I don't think he'd get drafted above the 5th.
What he doesn't realize, he loses all bargaining power, and teams look at him as
A problem.
Problem.
Yep.
I'm not looking at this guy.
He'll drop more than Shador.
I'm sure.
Maybe.
Yeah. Shador.
Maybe.
Yeah. Shador was like one of those 5, 6, 7
He's supposed
picks.
to be the number 1 pick.
Well, this guy was never a number 1 pick. But you see him, he'll absolutely drop into the 4th or 5th round. Teams are not taking a chance on him.
No shot. For a guy who never produced in college.
After he played these games, no.
Alexander says the Yankees are the big winners in that Devers trade. Well, I don't know. Boston was in last place in the division anyway, aren't they?
Yep,
maybe,
they're not going to be playing Boston again.
Yeah, well,
except if they have another series against them later in the season.
Yeah, later in the year. Yeah. What he's trying to say that, they're not going to be a contender, but they weren't a contender this year either, right? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Baltimore's down. Toronto's been okay.
Baltimore's been bad. Baltimore's bad this year.
Very bad. But what did Baltimore let Corbin Burns go, and they didn't do anything to replace him. The pitching's been bad.
Jackson Holiday's been a bust.
Yeah, he's struggling again. He's still young.
No. He's been okay. He's been better this year than last year, and he's still super young.
Yeah, he's like 20, maybe 21, but he's not been good. He's been better than last year, but I don't think how it could be any worse than he was last year.
What do you think his numbers are?
Probably hitting like 250. Is he hitting 250?
259.
Okay, maybe 4 or 5 home runs, 25 RBIs.
8 home runs, 27 RBIs,
Okay.
29 runs, hitting 259
Okay.
with a 309 on base percentage.
Well, so that's not real great. So he's not drawing a whole lot of walks. Here's the thing.
He's 21 years old.
Well, there you go. Considering his pedigree, you could say those are underwhelming numbers.
for the hype that he got. You know what? It's just like with Al Leiter's kid, Jack Leiter, who was supposed to be the greatest thing. Oh, the second overall pick, it was killing it for Vanderbilt. He's this, he's that. Here's the thing with a lot of these guys whose dads were a superstar, something special. They're never going to be the same player as talented as the dad. Just like Drew Jones, Andrew Jones's kid.
Sometimes they're better.
Yeah, like Ken Griffey
Jr. That was exactly what I was about to say. Ken Griffey Jr. is absolutely better than his dad.
Now, Ken Griffey was a really great baseball player.
But Ken Griffey Jr., you'd argue, is better than his dad.
Absolutely. Not even argue. He was better than his dad. But most aren't. Al Leiter was a good pitcher. Jack Leiter was actually pitching pretty well up till his last start where he just got obliterated.
Jack Leiter in college was like lights out.
Well, Texas has had a down year this year. So, a lot of that comes into focus. He was hurt this year too. So, who knows? But he had been pitching pretty well till his last start. His last start was disastrous. But he'd been pretty good. I think the 5 or 6 starts previous to that, his numbers were pretty good. He's still a Nepo baby, though.
The same thing like Drew Jones. Drew Jones is 21 years old, and now he's in single A or high A ball. You're the second overall pick. Again, if your dad wasn't Andrew Jones, you're never going to be selected.
He had so much hype coming out in the draft.
That's what I mean. Like all of these guys who, the dad – has made a name and has been Andrew Jones, fantastic MLB player. Same thing with Matt Holliday. Same thing with Al Leiter. But it's just like the likelihood that they pan out to the same level that the dad was is just unlikely. That's all. Here you go, Alexander.
Happy Father's Day to TJ and Grumpy and X if you're a father too. He has a dog.
I have a dog.
He's not a father. Happy Father's Day to Alexander.
Wow.
Thomas Anthony says Devers would look great in a Mets uniform. No freaking way.
I wanted nothing to do with him.
Bullet dodged.
Yep.
JP says Happy Father's Day. A lot of Blockbuster deals happening, except for the Islanders Never Say Die Fantasy Baseball League. Well, all deals get vetoed. Okay. Now, do we want to even touch on this?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
To you. We'll leave it, Grumpy. We'll leave it to your discretion. It's Father's Day.
Okay, no. It's fantasy baseball. No, make it. You got 1 minute. 1 minute, Grumpy. You've got 1 minute to do this in.
Okay.
Time starts now.
If you're trading Mookie Betts, you have to get somebody, a better infielder than Anthony Volpe coming back. That's all I'm going to say. There is no comparison between those two players.
I'd agree. Mookie Betts a first-round pick, for sure.
There were 2 deals. One of them was worse than the other. I don't know who vetoed the deal. I don't know, but you had 4 people veto the deal out of 10 teams, and those are just be the rules. So those were, and JP, you were done a favor actually by that trade being vetoed for you. Thomas Antonetti goes Orlando Magic. See, it was well less than a minute. Orlando Magic, in my opinion, gave up way too much in the trade with the Grizzlies. Definitely overpaid.
Yes, that was the other big blockbuster trade. Did you guys happen to see what happened in the NBA here?
I did not. My whole thing is, do I know any of these players? That's what I want to
know. Let's do a segment here. Can we name them?
I'm going to say you probably don't know any of these players, Grump. There's only one real player that was traded. So you're probably not going to know this. Yes. I'm sorry. There's a few others, like periphery players. The Grizzlies traded away Desmond Bane. Again, he's pretty good. He's not like a superstar by any stretch of the imagination, but he's a pretty solid baller.
Okay, he's the best player. I've never heard of him. And he's traded to the Magic for Kentavious Caldwell Pope, who I have heard of.
I've heard of him.
And Cole Anthony is that
the kid from Chapel Hill, I think, right?
Yes.
I don't. Okay.
The point guard.
Then I have heard of him. 4 unprotected first-round picks and 1 first-round pick swap. That's a lot. I mean, has the NBA
unprotected first-round picks?
Has the NBA not become a joke with these first-round draft picks getting traded all the time? If you're Orlando, you better hope this Desmond Bane is the next coming of Shaq O'Neal, because you've just traded away 4 years of first-round draft picks.
Unprotected first-round draft picks, might I add. Which, in my opinion, is just absolutely nuts. The other thing I wanted to mention here, just to pull this up, Desmond Bane, his numbers, right? He averaged 19 points a game last season. He had 5.3 assists a game, and he had 6.1 rebounds.
So he's an average player, I guess.
As a
right?
shooting guard, I'm just saying to give up for, I'd say he's not even the best player on his team. You know what I mean? Like Ja Morant is the player that makes that team go, right?
How's John Morant look though?
He's looking good in the California Penal League.
No, he's
Ja
still.
Morant.
I'm just saying, like, I mean, I feel like he's an afterthought now in the NBA. He was supposed to be the face of the NBA, and now he's not anymore.
If you're
Well,
Memphis,
when you start,
if you're Memphis at this point, you're pretty much trying to see if you can move John Morant, aren't you?
why is that?
All right, you just traded Desmond Bane, who I don't know if he's a model citizen or not. I'm going to assume he is because you never hear anything. I've never heard of him, so that means nothing bad has happened when it comes to him. John Morant is just a loose freaking cannon. And it's like, do you want a guy with how many of these issues? How long do you want him? You just traded your second best player. And what do you need? You didn't bring anybody back who's really worth much of anything. And
4 unprotected first round picks, man. That's huge.
Okay. That means you're in a full on rebuild. No?
Okay. Basketball rebuilds are a lot different than other rebuilds. If you're in a spot where it's like, great, you know, the Magic went ahead and acquired them, and the Magic aren't very good this year. And they're in a lottery spot. We win the draft lottery. It's all it takes. And you pair up John Morant with a top tier player, and then you're back in business again. You know what I mean?
Okay. I just think John Morant's nothing but trouble.
I do agree. He's just like, I don't understand. He acts like he's a child, which I think is the real problem behind it. But I digress. You go, Alexander Grump.
But I don't know. They are in the playoffs if the season ended. Boston is.
Yeah,
Boston's not making a postseason. Okay, yeah, Boston's not making a postseason. They're bad. Simple. Yeah, they're not making it. Yeah, the American League sucks this year. Yeah, Boston won't make it in. You go, freedom, fun, and adventure.
How do you feel about the Islanders pursuing Russian Maxim Shabanov? He scores a lot, fast and shifty, and the Islanders' weakest position in the organization is right wing. He is small. If they sign him, they need to dump 2 other Smurfs. TJ, you want to touch on that? And X can get his little feet wet on this conversation.
I'll talk about
how much looking have you done on Maxim Shabanov?
Me?
X. Yeah.
Dude, extensive research.
I
can just tell you, looking at him right here, he seems like a pretty tough player, man.
Okay, let's just watch.
Phil was really high on him last year, thinking, well, since they got Siplikov, this guy is a guarantee to play for the Islanders.
Shiplikov and Smaganov, or whatever his name was. What was his last name?
Shemenov.
Hey, they'd roll off the tongue if they scored. That would be pretty good. Look at that.
Yeah,
Might as well call him Bobby Orr now.
No, stop.
Whoa.
He's good on his edges. He's got good edge work. Yeah. Again, we're just seeing a lot in close, but
looks like McDavid out there.
If you can sign him for a reasonable deal, and he's not going to be worth a whole lot of money,
he'd be like an entry level deal, Grump.
Then take it. Then sign him. I have no problem with it.
I don't either.
I mean, this is the team. New York Islanders are a team that are devoid of high end.
It's the reason why you don't sign back fucking hacks like Kyle Palmieri.
That's right.
Because you could fill it with a guy like Shabanov and give him time as a middle six and say, instead of 2 more years of wasting time with Kyle Palmieri, we could see if a guy like Shabanov could step in and maybe, this is a guy that could be a number 2 guy for us, a second line winger for us.
But TJ, they need to help him out with cul-de-sac payments.
And they can't make the HOA when he's from another country, I guess.
It's not even that signing Palmieri back for 2 years. It's the money that you sign him back for, and the fact that next year is going to be a much deeper free agent class than this year. And you won't have the extra $4.7 million to invest because you have that guy still in your organization.
Yeah, my thing is also the spaces available on the team. This guy is back-to-back seasons. By the way, he's 24 years old. So he's 5'8". He's small, 156 pounds. So very small, might I
You can
add.
still be small and good.
In this league,
Yeah,
okay. Until you
can.
get to the playoffs, because if you've been watching this Stanley Cup final, that guy's not going to work in the playoffs.
How big is Brad Marchand?
Okay, Brad Marchand's a rat, though. He's different.
And
Not every small guy's built like that. They're just letting both teams take liberties and do whatever the fuck they want on the ice out there. They're letting Sam Bennett run people from behind. They're letting anything happen, holding, clutching, grabbing, cross-checking. Every single penalty that's called every day of the week during the regular season, just be damned. They're not calling anything.
And
Brad Marchand, because his team's losing.
Brad Marchand doesn't weigh 154 pounds.
Brad Marchand's a rat. I know you don't watch any NHL yet. You're gonna have to start watching.
I
NHL.
watched him last night. He looked pretty good on that goal he scored.
Yeah, he's a rat, and when I mean a rat, he's a guy who sticks around and gets under your skin. He's tough as nails. He's slimy. Anytime you think get him, he scampers away. He's a rat. It's like you hate to play against him. Love to have him on your team.
You cannot believe what I'm going to say right now.
He's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
They win the Stanley Cup. He's absolutely a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yep.
He has impressed me more playing third line minutes for the Florida Panthers and I'm not saying he was not a great player with Boston, than he did in Boston playing on first line. He subjugated his game to fit the team, and he's been clutch as hell.
Yep.
He's been sensational. He's got 6 goals in 5 games. 6 goals in 5 games.
I do have a topic about him too. If we want to jump to that, I'm not sure if you wanted to talk any more about Shabanov.
Okay.
You said Grumpy. Their second and third line's been doing all the production too.
They have been. The first line hadn't been doing too much. Or all of a sudden, Sam Reinhart is starting to come back. The last 3 games, I think he's got 4 goals, something like that. But he's just recovering from his injury. Florida's okay. Florida's the better team in that series. This series should already be over. If the league didn't try to make it tight in Game 4, the series is over last.
They're letting them bully. They're letting them bully and do what they typically do in the NHL playoffs, which is let the teams that are less skilled, bigger and physical, bully the teams that are more skilled.
Okay,
that's what you're seeing.
They're letting Edmonton do the same thing. Florida's just shut down McDavid in this playoff series. Draisaitl looks like he's just totally out of gas. I said at the beginning of the series, the fact that Knobloch was playing these guys 30 minutes a night.
Full stop.
No, let me finish. Then you can comment. I said at the beginning of the series, if you remember, he was playing these guys 30-plus minutes a night, and it was going to come back to haunt them towards the end of the series, and you're seeing it now. Florida's a big physical team, and they hit guys to wear them out as the season ends, as the series ends. That's what they do.
Here's the thing. Leon Draisaitl. Did you look at his production last year in the Stanley Cup Finals?
Terrible.
Did you look at his production again this year in the Stanley Cup Finals? Terrible again. Guess what? Terrible again. He is not a clutch player.
Okay.
Draisaitl scoring all their goals, TJ?
No, he's not. He's not a clutch player.
He scored how many game winners in this series? How many goals does Connor McDavid have?
He's had an overtime winner. He's had an overtime winner.
How many goals does Connor McDavid have in this series?
I'll tell you in a second.
You can count them on one finger. It was last night.
Whoa!
When they were down 3-0.
Oh my God!
Simple as this.
Hold on, you got some brown stuff in your head.
Hyman's an issue, and Draisaitl. Well, actually, Draisaitl's he scored 3 goals and had 4 assists.
That's what I said. He's been good in this series. He looks like he's done though. He looks like he's physically worn out. Florida is a deeper team than Edmonton is. Those 3 lines that they have at the top are really, really good.
Edmonton have a really good first line, and that's it.
Because he's run McDavid and Draisaitl into the ground. They've done a really nice job limiting McDavid. I think McDavid looked way better in earlier series, and I think McDavid. Here's the thing: you're not going to hear me bad mouthing McDavid. They've just kind of shut him down, and it's not because of him. I just think they have a plan. They're better. Florida's just a better team.
They said make somebody else beat us,
and they can't do it. Their defense is horrible. Jake Wallman, who was a great pickup for them in the regular season, he got undressed last night multiple times.
Again, They let the teams that they like, which are your Florida Panthers, just do
Edmonton.
whatever they want anytime they want. Like, for example, this is a game misconduct, by the way. Nothing was called on the ice, and it's so bad. It's
Wait,
so
I thought
bad.
I
You
was
have
the only one who
sports.
bitched about the officials.
It's so bad.
That's my stance, buddy.
It's so bad. You have reputable sources like Sports Network tweeting about there was nothing even called on this play.
Sports Network,
It's
the
bad.
Canadian thing. Okay, sure.
I'll let you watch it. It's simple. It's bad. I'll let you watch it full
McDavid
speed. I'll put it
delays.
slow-mo for you.
Up against a hard run, and it just is
Clean hit.
snapped into the glass.
Get up,
There
coward.
was no question.
Clean hit. Clean hit. That's a clean
It's not a
hit.
clean hit.
I would
That's a
say
clean
the
hit.
principal point of contact.
Let me ask you this. What's the rule? You can't check somebody along the boards when his numbers are facing you. Grumpy, let me ask you
Everybody
this.
gets hit
Is the
like
number
that.
is the number
Didn't hit him in the
facing
head.
Is the number facing him?
Okay, you watch that every.
Oh,
single
look at
game.
this. Grumpy. Is it also a penalty to leave your skates on a
All
check?
right, let's move on.
Oh,
I
wow.
think-
Well, okay, I know it
I'm
doesn't
not
fit
getting
your
into an
narrative.
argument on this with
I
you.
know it doesn't fit
It's
your
not.
narrative, but he jumps up and hits him. Look, that looks like there's contact against the head.
Look at the
'cause he's
other
jumping
angle.
to hit
That's
him.
when you can actually see if he hit him
Hey,
in the
hold
head.
on,
this.
The
TJ.
angle that
Can
was
you tell
along the
me,
board.
TJ, can you tell me? I got a question for you. What's the series at right now?
It's 3-2.
All right, that's all we need to know. Keep moving.
Look at this.
Look at this.
Look at this.
Look at this. Where does he hit him?
In the
He doesn't
back.
hit him in the head. He doesn't hit him in the head.
He
actually
leaves
does not
his
hit him in the head.
skates and hits him in the upper body.
does not hit him in
leaves
the
his
head.
skates from behind
He
and hits
doesn't
him
get
in the
hit
upper
in the
body.
head. He does not get hit
Simple
in
as
the
that.
head.
When he's
Simple
hit,
as
his
that.
skates are on the ground.
Okay. Again, you've never watched the sport. I guess you don't know the rules. When you hit players, you're not allowed to leave your skates to hit players.
Everybody leaves their skates when they hit somebody.
It's
You
a
realize
penalty
that,
by the
right?
letter of the
It's
So
law.
not
then
a
you,
penalty.
I guess everybody would be in the penalty box then, right?
Penalty by the letter of the law. That's simple. Leave
Okay,
his
now
skates
pull
to
up Florida
tattoo him.
Panthers getting hit like that.
That doesn't happen.
Believe
Edmonton
Oh,
plays
that's
a clean
bullshit.
game.
You're
That's
absolutely wrong.
bullshit.
You're
Edmonton
absolutely
plays
wrong.
clean.
Now look at
Edmonton's
me
clean.
smiling. He probably sees there's probably 40
It
different
happens.
tweets underneath that shit of the
It's-
Florida Panthers getting lit up with no call.
Okay, unfortunately, for good or bad, the NHL officiating changes from the regular season to the playoffs. It just does.
Well, let me
It's
ask
a
you this. Here's
man
another
game.
like
Still played by men. That's why Mr. 5'6", 154 might be a good player. Is he a guy that I'm going to say no to? Nope, because the Islanders need talent. So I'm absolutely rolling the dice on him. But I wouldn't expect him to be a big contributor in the playoffs just with his size.
I don't know.
That's nothing. That's
I want
absolutely
to see
nothing.
the other replay.
It's nothing.
Can you get off
It's
the
nothing.
Edmonton fan page and actually go
Oh
to
my
something
God, that's
not
nothing.
biased?
That's
Stick
nothing.
on the helmet. Stick on the
Oh,
helmet.
stop.
my
Just stop.
God.
Okay, if you're trying to prove a point, you might as well just
Stick
go
on
the
a helmet.
All right, Charmin
That's it.
also
Stick on
lets
the
us
helmet.
more.
I just put NHL refs in. I'm not even searching for that specifically. I'm telling you, it's as simple as that. I mean, like, for people who've been watching the games, you notice they're just letting both teams, right? I'm
Then
saying
what are you complaining
both
about? If they
because
call it fair for each side,
the more egregious is Florida committing on Edmonton.
No,
Florida
sorry.
plays
sorry,
an
your little
NHL
bitch
playoff
boy,
style
your
game.
bitch boy ain't winning a Stanley Cup again this year.
He's
He's
crying
winning.
because he can't.
He's
go
winning.
against McDavid.
He's winning.
Here's the thing, X.
He's winning.
You know what the most, and here's the thing, they could still win. I mean, Connor McDavid is that good. I know he's only got one goal this series.
Maybe
He's
can
got 7
scream at him
points.
high pitched in the locker room again. Come on, guys, we got it. We can do it. Wake up, back.
But-
Wake up.
He's the most talented player that's ever played hockey.
Stop.
Get the fuck
Stop.
out of here, DJ.
Stop. He's not
He
even
is.
close. He's not even close to the most talented player that's ever played.
If he played back when Gretzky played, he'd have 500 points a season.
Okay, you know what? Let's take the same training and nutrition that they have nowadays and apply that to Gretzky. Then let's go ahead and do that to make it fair, right?
Mario
You're
Lemieux
not-
was a better player than he was.
No,
Period.
he was not.
He absolutely
No,
was.
he was
Bobby
not.
Orr, more physically gifted.
Let's take
than
the
him.
same training and nutrition that we have nowadays and apply that.
and give him. And how about let's give them the graphite sticks that they use now,
Yep.
as opposed to the wood jobs they used to use back in the day.
Well, they didn't even have.
McDavid be
flat
throwing
playing.
shots against goalies. Standing
They're out
up
there
when he
using
scores from the blue
pallets.
line.
They're out there using pallets
right.
to shoot.
They were using wood. They were
Yeah.
using cut down trees.
Sure.
Just stop. Just stop. And here's the thing.
Sure.
Again,
That-
I don't know why you want to go down this road. I'm not ripping him because I think he's really, really good. I'm just saying that Knobloch ground him into the dirt. And you listen to the players, they're done. They're done. If you listen to that,
They're getting abused by the players out there on the ice. They are.
Stop, because they're pussies. Sorry. Suck it up, Buttercup. It's a man's game. It's not the ice capades.
You want to remove fighting from the sport too, TJ?
Here's the thing. The problem with Edmonton is the same problem it's always been. They don't have any goaltending or defense. That's their issue.
Well, they don't have any goaltending. I don't disagree with that.
And their defense sucks. I can't tell you how
they're going to switch and go back to the other goalie for game 6.
What is it?
Stuart Skinner.
Matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Florida has worn them down. They just have. They play physical. They play a heavy physical game. They're a big physical team. And I'll tell you what, Alexander Barkov does not get enough credit for how good he is as a two-way player. He's the Brian Trottier of this era.
Real quick, you just said there's been a new account created called Inverse Phil's Facts. There's a new mayor of Isles Twitter.
Oh, no. I don't know who this is, but I like him already.
I'll tell you. This is good.
Phil put a tweet out there about Anders Lee getting, I have not been able to see it since he first put it out, about Anders Lee getting a 3-year contract extension. That they were talking about that. I don't know if he was trolling, which he's prone to do.
Gotta ask him.
I do want to ask him.
Your show buddy. You gotta ask him.
He's gonna be my show buddy. That's right.
I'm gonna be on the show too.
Good. I want you.
By the way, this is my last. This is our last, at least my last TJ and the Grumpy Old Man show this evening. So this be the last one. Happy. This is like a little happy trails.
No more shitty sports takes.
Something tells me we're not going to have too many discussions on Connor McDavid being the greatest player of all time. We won't have any.
You're going to miss a lot. You're going to be talking about dumb shit when I'm gone. Simple. There's not going to be. X is going to have to do all the prep work if you want to continue this show. Simple as that.
Well, you could still give X information. You could set it up for him. You could help X out.
Yeah. X is going to have to go ahead and pull up on his own. He's going to have to go ahead and.
Oh, you don't want to be part of the.
Create the topics. He's going to have to create the topic. It's his job now, Grumpy. You're the one talking about the show. You and X are doing it. Topics. Yeah, and you're just going to have to come prepared. Like, for example, I do love when the NHL comes at guys like Paul Bichonette. He says, we truly had hockey royalty on the desk last night. And it's obviously right. They've got the second all-time leading scorer in NHL, and that's Jaromir Jagr. You've got here Hall of Fame hockey player Henrik Lundqvist. You've got here two-time IIHF world champion here. I can never remember his name. He used to play with the Sedins.
Anson Carter. I like Anson Carter, but he come on.
Well, they have Wayne Gretzky on the left. They have then 7 career NHL goals for Paul Bichonette as his moniker.
Here's the thing, and I've said it before on the show. I've said it on the Islanders Never Say Die show. When Gretzky talk, it's like freaking E.F. Hutton. Everyone just stops what they're doing and they just listen to him. He knows. Here's the thing. He knows that Edmonton's done too. He knows it.
Yeah. I mean,
Wickerman 7979 says, sounds like they just wanted to dump Devers. Honestly, it might be addition by subtraction.
I think you're right. Now, this is the play you're talking about when the series is tied 2-2. I'll tell you one thing that they're doing a hell of a good job of, Florida, is limiting the shot opportunities.
Yeah.
By Edmonton. 11 shots. Think about this. 11 shots halfway through the third on home ice.
And this is the team Edmonton's like the team. They've come back on them twice. Think about it. Actually 3 times they've come back from multiple goal deficits.
And they lost in overtime.
And 2 games they won in overtime. That's like Florida never gets beat after they have a 2-goal lead. And they have been beaten twice in this series under that scenario. Game 4, there were 2 penalties that they didn't call back-to-back. And then they gave a penalty to Florida, which turned right into a goal. There was a absolute interference call right in center ice that they didn't call, and then a real blatant trip.
Can you show that for us, Grumpy? You just sound like you're speaking on craziness.
Like I said, I watch it live. I don't take snapshots. I don't do that. I do not do that. Here's the thing. I'm not crying either way about the officials, one way or the other, like you do. The best
I'm not crying about the officials.
The best team is Florida. They are the best team.
No.
Edmonton has the 2 best players, but Florida has the best team. Sorry. They're good. They remind me of the Islanders. They really do. They can morph into any style you want to play. That's what makes them so good. And let's see what happens after this year. I mean, you have Ekblad, Marchand, and Bennett are all UFAs. So this team could look very different next season.
They get, I think, okay. Florida, I think it just gets away with a lot. That's simple.
Okay, would you not say, though, if they win another cup, that Bobrovsky's a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Oh, I think Bobrovsky's already a Hall of Famer. I'm not sure where he goes in the Hall of Fame, but he's a Hall of Famer without a doubt. I don't dislike Bobrovsky comes up big in big moments. His numbers may not be great, but he absolutely comes up big in big moments. There's no doubt about that. I like Bobrovsky. I think he's got his legacy has been cemented, and even if they lose this series, he definitely has a cemented legacy.
I think 2 Stanley Cup wins puts him over the top. I mean, the one black mark on his whole resume is that he used to play for the Flyers. I mean, that's sometimes tough to overcome, but he got out of that nightmare situation, and he's been good ever since.
This is Marchand. Now, Marchand's been absolutely spectacular. It's funny. I think, people have been asking the question. I think it's probably true. Has he been the best NHL trade deadline acquisition in the history of the NHL? And I can make an argument. I think absolutely he has been.
If they win the cup, yes.
Even if they don't win the cup, yes.
Got to win the cup. Otherwise it's Butch Goring. Got to win the cup. You got to win the cup.
I think it's the best, even if they don't win the cup.
You watch this guy. You watch this Marchand. He just wants it more than everybody else.
The whole Florida team does.
Look at Edmonton. Look how lazy. Look how fucking lazy we look on the ice. Just watch.
They look like they're dead.
120 face-offs. The Oilers now have 120.
Lazy. Lazy.
Bouchard. He's going to get $10 million a year.
And then Wallman just gets undressed. And look at the fucking forward back checking. Look at this shit.
There's Marchand back in with the move to the net. Scores. What a spectacular
half the Edmonton
goal.
guys are on their asses going through there. And there's Marchand with another goal. He's really impressed me. Like I said, he's always been a good player, but I hate him. You're right, TJ. He's a guy you want on your team, but you hate to play against him, but you want him on your team. He just wants it more than other players.
Look at 1-on-3.
Look at how
on 3.
Look at how Bouchard just floating back.
Same thing with the both just floating back, floating. Wallman just undressed.
Yikes. I mean, they've owned Ekholm this series too. They've made him look really bad as well.
That was Wallman. 96 is Wallman.
That was Wallman, but Ekholm is another guy who just been. Look at you could just tell they were defeated there.
It was 1-on-3. Honestly, this is one of those things where, as a coach, I don't know.
Look at the lack. Go back to the start of the play if you could, because look at Bouchard. Look at right here. He's standing here. Okay, again, sometimes it's just better to take it out of the zone. Look at this. Bouchard just I'm just going to stand there. I'm just standing here. I'm not going towards the puck. Whoops. He could have absolutely intercepted that puck or done something.
Time to bust it back, motherfucker.
And he just floating back. Look at him standing straight up and down.
Honestly, that's a weak goal to give up too. But
does Noah Dobson ever do that? Does he ever stand there and watch like that?
That's why I'm telling people Dobson's guaranteed. He's getting a $10 million a year contract.
He's better than Bouchard. If
he played in Edmonton, he'd have 80 points a year because he'd be putting up monster points on the power play and they'd be scoring a lot more goals. He'd be Evan Bouchard, except he plays a little bit more defense. And he'd be like, whoa, he's so great. But again, like Bouchard, just typical, just like boof. Again, could you imagine Islander fans if that was Noah Dobson? The response that Islander fans would have out there. Holy shit. Just look at this.
Not that it's going to get to me. Dude, I'm sorry. And just look at him. What? He hasn't taken another stride. He hits the blue line and he doesn't take a stride the rest of the way in.
Somebody else will take care of it. That type of approach is what gets you beat.
He got to the blue line and didn't take another stride. Think about that.
Yep. Somebody else will take care of it. Somebody else will do the job. Not taking ownership is a problem.
Alexander says Mendoza is a better manager than Boone is. Well, that's everybody's a better manager than Boone. Gungun says, is Kodai Senga merely a weak man? Should he eat more Raisin Brand?
He went ahead and he pulled his hamstring again or something like that.
He's going to be out a while. He's going to be out.
It was like a hamstring strain. I don't know the grade, but he's going to be out at least a month. You're like, woof. He's pitched so well this year, but just yikes.
Again, Kodai Senga. If you look at him 30 years ago, he's not throwing the ball 98 miles an hour. He's not getting hamstring pulls because he's not trying to throw as hard as he can every single pitch. He's pitching. Ron Guidry was 170 pounds soaking wet, and he threw, whatever it was, 94, 95. But you know what? He could pitch. Instead of trying to throw it a zillion miles an hour, learn how to pitch, fellas. It's called pitching, not throwing. Sorry. Wickerman 7979 says he had a lot of years left on his contract, referring to Devers, and he wasn't really a team player. He wouldn't play first with Casas hurt, and he was making too much to DH. It doesn't matter how much money you make. If you can hit and you're not a problem, it doesn't matter. They overpaid to keep him because they lost Betts and Bogarts. That's why they signed him to that extension. Could not lose another guy. Gungwood says, when the Panthers choked away a 3-goal lead the other night, I thought they were done. After watching the game last night, were they merely having a little fun? I think that solidified their resolve, losing that game. They came out and they just shut Edmonton down. If they score the first goal, you think the game is pretty much over. Edmonton, in their defense, has really come back in third periods. Is that really? But that kind of wears on you over the course of season two, series two. If you're down always multiple goals, it really takes a lot to fight back and fight back and fight back. It's tough.
It does. It does.
Wickerman 79 says, Grumpy, you were right. Never make the first or third out at third base. Absolutely. Gungu says, TJ, which Wilson left more of an impression on you? Brian Wilson or Wilson the volleyball? Do you know either one of those two, TJ?
Brian Wilson, the pitcher, right?
X, would you like to jump on that, Brian Wilson?
I don't know who Brian Wilson is, but I know Wilson the volleyball is from Castaway.
TJ did not know that either. I know
Brian Wilson. I know Brian Wilson. He's like, Wilson. He had it was a handprint, the red handprint on him. It was like Wilson, the guy he talked to when he was going crazy. I've never watched Castaway.
Okay.
Brian Wilson.
The ball was called Wilson because that was the brand of ball. God,
Wilson was the brand of ball. That's what it was. And TJ did not know that, TJ X. When I ask you a specific question, just answer the question I ask, no further. And Brian Wilson was the brains, the driving force behind the Beach Boys. He passed away this week.
Oh, yeah. Brian Wilson was also closer for the San Francisco Giants. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't going crazy. I looked that up, too.
Okay. Brian Wilson, that I know he's talking about, who's infinitely more influential on the history of American music than Brian Wilson ever was as a relief pitcher of the Beach Boys, just passed away this week.
I want to pull this up here real quick.
Okay.
Brad Marchand has had 5 goals in the 2011 Stanley Cup Finals when the Bruins beat the Vancouver Canucks, and then 5 goals in the 2025 Stanley Cup Finals with the Florida Panthers. He's the first player in NHL history to score 5+ goals in a single Stanley Cup Finals with 2 different teams.
I believe he has 6 goals in this playoff.
Yes.
Round.
Now with the extra goal from last night. Yes.
And I think he's got 13 Stanley Cup final goals. I believe it is.
First ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Wickerman 79 adds, do you think Ohtani and Judge are the 2 best position players in baseball? X, what do you say?
Does Ohtani really play right field still?
He does not. So the answer is no.
Yeah, I would say no because he's a pitcher or maybe DH.
TJ says yes. To me, no. The 2 best position players in baseball are Aaron Judge and Bobby Witt.
Bobby Witt.
Okay. Simple as this. When Ohtani plans to pitch again, I consider that a position player when you're pitching too.
A position player is not a pitcher. That's not a position
He's on the
player.
field. He's playing a position on the field. It's called a position player by definition.
No.
It is.
No.
It is.
A
You're
position player is somebody who plays a position every day. He's a pitcher. And if he pitches,
pitcher.
who knows if he will? We
position
don't
on the diamond. Pitcher.
Okay, no. Pitcher is not considered a position player. It's not. It's considered a pitcher.
Move along.
It's considered a pitcher.
A lot of cover in a short time.
Wrong, buddy. Wrong.
Here you go, Alexander.
Mets fans need to stop crashing out about the Devers trade. He's a cancer in the locker room. Nope, I'll pass on. I'm glad the Mets didn't make a move. Absolutely not. I agree with Alexander 100% on that. Wickerman 79. X, do you have any comments on that one? Should the Mets have tried to pick up Devers?
No.
Cancers. Yeah, actually, I think they should have. So that way the Yankees could have been better than them.
It's funny because I think Rafi Devers knows how to speak English. He just doesn't want to when he's interviewed. So
we know Shohei Ohtani definitely knows how to speak English.
I'll just say the reason why I know that, I feel that way, is because sometimes when somebody asks a question, he blurts out the answer before the interpreter gets to translate the question. So that tells me particularly a long question, like the one about if he was going to play first base or if third base earlier in the year. He just answered, nope, not doing that before the translator even translated. So he knows English well enough to be able to.
So does Shohei Ohtani, but he's got to keep somebody around to blame on gambling.
Oh, well, that's true too. Wickerman 79 goes, I agree the Sox wouldn't have traded him if he wasn't a cancer. Yeah, he's a problem. Had to go.
Yep.
Alexander Grove, that's right. The Giants and the Red Sox play this Friday night. Well, there's your game to watch, right?
Yep.
Yes.
And Alexander goes, guys, we are 2 years away from a lockout in baseball. I firmly believe that as well. They have a lot to work on.
You think there should be a lockout?
I think there will be. I think something's going to happen.
Yeah.
At some point in time, the players have to agree to some type of salary structure cap. They just have to. You have to minimize the difference between the haves and the have-nots. It's tough if you're a fan of Miami or Pittsburgh or Colorado where they don't spend any money. That's really, really tough. And you got teams like the Dodgers. I think the deferred money thing has to come into it in the next CBA. Alexander adds, is it true what he said about the baseballs? You can't tell me otherwise after watching that Soto hit.
I think so. I mean, it does look like a little bit of a dead ball. Fans want to see more home runs. Fuck, man. Just juice the balls back up. Put the Goldilocks balls back out there that the Yanks had the benefit of using for a few years. And, I want to see a lot of home runs.
If he got on top of that ball a little bit, you could see why it would be sloping down at the end. I don't know. Does it bother me? It doesn't bother me one way or the other. It really doesn't.
McCutcheon's right. Yeah, it's a hell of a shot by JJ. Hikar Goon Grump.
TJ, which sports-related surgeries have you had to endure? Can you give us a guided tour?
Knee surgeries. That was about it. Microfracture.
Same knee, right? Same knee, cartilage
I've
tears.
had knee surgeries on both.
Is it both knees or just the one? I thought it was
Both
the
knees.
same one twice. Okay.
No, both knees.
Alexander says Wheeler with the Mets was 43 and 38 with the Mets with a 3.77 ERA and a total of 749 innings pitched. He was better with the Phillies. He was
Much better with the Phillies.
But the fact they let him go when they needed pitching, I thought was I always saw something in him. He had a little injury issues when he started. I always liked Zach Wheeler. I think he's really good. Freedom Fun Adventure goes, does Sun X work in the sweatshop that sews baseballs?
They've got him tied to a desk because he's got a half remote.
That's my side gig. That's my side job.
Gungun says, Grumpy, which son understands the importance of replenishing your water? Do you sometimes wish you had a daughter? Well, they say if you have a daughter, you don't have to worry. When you get older, they'll help you out. I don't expect any of that. If the warden goes before me, I'm probably just going to be dead in the house for a month or so before somebody says, "Oh,
okay, that's bullshit." What we're going to do is we're going to walk in on you bathing in Blu-ray boxes. That's what's going to end up happening. Blu-rays. Oh,
when I'm dead for a month, and the first thing X will say is, "Where's my inheritance?" That'll be number one.
You're going to end up getting cuts from the discs.
And who understands the importance of replenishing water? I think TJ is way better than that than X. X is like a freaking parasite.
Oh my gosh. Get out of here.
TJ is a little bit better in that regard.
Get out of here with the blasphemy. All right, next.
Alexander says the total disrespect by Sun X. You should be ashamed of yourself. This is Grump's day.
That's right. That's right, X. You should be ashamed of yourself.
No, it's always my fault. That's it.
James Farrell says, X, why do you bring the dog over the house and leave the dog at home? What's wrong with you, X?
Why don't you leave it at home?
He likes to see Grumpy.
Here's the thing. When X goes on one of his little excursions, somehow, oh, Grumpy, can you and the warden watch the dog while we go out and have fun? We'll leave you shackled to the house, taking care of our reckless mutt, Mr. Z, and his thing. We love the dog, but he's a menace.
I'm covering up his ears right now because he can hear you.
He knows we love him, but he knows he's got issues. It's not his fault. It's his parents' fault. They ruined it.
No home training by X.
Alexander adds, very disappointed, Son X. Very disappointed. Freedom Fund Adventure goes, Grumpy, remember when you showed the young Grumpy photos? TJ recently commented that you were never that strong, that you only had beach muscles. Is that true? That is not true. I was really strong back in the day. I'm not anymore, though.
Grumpy, I don't know.
I went to the gym with TJ, and honestly, I was embarrassed with my performance. Absolutely freaking.
I was embarrassed that I let him in, too. No, just kidding.
But TJ should have been embarrassed looking at his form. Like, holy shit.
A Grumpy looking at your form?
No, looking at your form.
Please stop.
I remember we went to the gym once, and I was like, TJ, do it this way, do it this way. And there were other people at the gym, and they looked at TJ, and they're like, oh shit. And I remember there was an old lady in the gym, and TJ had been gone for a while, and he came back after, I don't know what it was, 2 years maybe, and he came back and he'd been much bigger. He'd been away to college, and he's like, and the old lady come up, he says, don't you really, you should thank your father for teaching you how to do, because she remembered what a piece of shit TJ was trying to get him to work out. And
this sounds like a typical fabricated.
You remember? Come on, you remember the old lady?
Honestly, I don't remember this at all. I honestly do not remember this at all. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I don't remember this at all.
Yeah, she was like, "See what happened when you listen to your father?" That's what she said. And she was old. She was probably in her 60s at the time. And she's like, I remember you giving him such a hard time, but look at you now.
I think we're ad-libbing a little bit. I don't know how long that conversation happened.
I have sacrificed my whole life for my children, and one guy won't replenish the water, lets his dog piss on my front lawn I told him emphatically, I do not want that dog pissing on my lawn.
X, can you do me a favor? Can you have dogs piss in his yard tonight?
When I'm on death's doorknob after a month, the same guy he hears me crash against the door when I fell in the door, tore my rotator cuff, and he wouldn't even come out and say anything. Sacrifice. All I do is sacrifice for these two bums.
You want to know what I'm going to say? His shoulder didn't look too torn the way he whipped that damn blind up so quick. I was like, holy shit, he might as well be in the MLB the way he's cranking his arm back, whipping that thing up. You didn't look injured at all the way that you moved your shoulder to get that blind up to yell at me.
How many times did the warden strip you of video games? Just take your little thing away. I remember it used to really burn him up when she'd push, boop, hit the off button. He loses his mind. But what was the biggest crack she ever made on you? That's the biggest one. Remember?
Very good at him.
What?
She said I wasn't very good at him. That's what she said.
He was complaining how it wasn't working, banging the remotes all the time. This stupid game, blah, 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 cursing like a sailor, actually a sailor, cursing all the time. And she's like, do you ever think you're just not good at that game? And X's mouth just dropped open, drool and shit coming out the side. I felt bad for you, X. She just destroyed your very existence at that point in time. You remember that? I do.
God.
You remember it too, X. You had to wear glasses after that. You were so destroyed. You went blind.
That's it. You guessed it.
To answer your question, Freedom Fund Adventure, I'm not sure. Grumpy had I never saw Grumpy back in his day, so all you had to do was take him at his word. But I'm not sure if the muscles were. I'm not sure if they were more for
they were
use
go
or
muscles.
more for look.
Grumpy made himself sound like Billy Badass back in the day, like he was John Wayne out there.
Ask the warden.
He was Dirty Harold with his Smith and Wesson out there, laying down the law.
Let me tell you something, Max. Nobody messed with me back.
Saying, "Make my day."
They don't even mess with me now. They don't even mess with me now because you know what? When you have it, you always have it. It never.
I'll tell you this much.
Say, holy shit, this is an old man off his meds.
X Grumpy in his peak was definitely a lot stronger than X ever was. There's no doubt about that.
Come on now.
X
TJ, let me tell. I'm going to give TJ some credit. When he was working out hard, I mean, he weighed a shitload more than I ever weighed. So you can push more weight. The heavier you are, the more weight you can push. Absolutely, believe me. In my prime, TJ outweighed me by maybe 60, 65, 70 pounds.
Yeah.
Comparatively, he was never as strong as I was.
Oh,
if you weighed what I weighed, you would never been able to lift the weight I weighed.
I was the strongest in all of the land.
It's the fact that you outweighed me by like 100 pounds. Is the reason why you were able.
It started with 60 and then 100.
Just standing up.
You know what it sounds like? It just you could just say you're just weaker than me in every single lift exercise that ever existed. You're just weaker than me in your prime. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
TJ could always do more squats than me. Just look at how much
Squat,
extra
bench
weight-
press,
just look
clean,
at how much weight
shoulder
he had
press,
to-
anything.
Just look how much weight he has to do just by standing up.
You want to
to
know what
know that
else?
he was
You
able
want to know
to
what else he
afford
would
it.
beat you at? Plates finished at the buffet.
Very true. He owned that shit. Broken plate.
I think he actually has the state record.
Let me tell you something. He eat the shit out of a buffet table.
That's true. That's true.
No problem.
Wasn't it
there.
one
James
time we
Farrell
went to IHOP and you had like 20 pancakes or something for the?
Oh
and
my
they-
God,
man,
it
when
was
it's all you can
embarrassing.
eat,
And they
that's
had
all
to
you can eat.
slow down the amount that they were bringing them out to try and get your like stomach for it to actually hit
No.
your stomach. For
No.
you to stop.
This is what happened. They said, "Sir, we ran out of batter." I mean, it was embarrassing.
You want to hear? No, you want to hear the bad thing? He had food before he went there as well.
That's right. He always
He had
eats
meal
before he
before he
goes.
went there.
He
I
always
really
eats-
don't remember it, but I don't doubt it. That
Yeah,
sounds
no,
that
I
sounds probably
remember.
probable.
You had 19 pancakes, and you were like, "Yeah, I literally had food before I came here too." I was
He
like,
eats
"It's
before he goes to the all-you-can-eat buffet. And
I
then
don't doubt
I mean, that's one thing, dude. You can eat way more than all of us put together, honestly.
than any normal human."
It was disgraceful. I'm like, what the hell? James Farrell goes, "You guys following the college baseball tournament? X, have
Little
you
bit.
been? No, I have not. I will say I have not.
I followed a little bit, not as much as I should. Just
The
games here and there.
the last real champion.
Oh, it's got to be Derek.
This is Derek Monroe.
Yeah, it's got to
Okay.
be Derek.
Evening, gents. Just would like to drop in and wish you fellas a happy Father's Day. Thank you very much. X, I'll even include you with Dog Z. Hope you all had a great day watching some wet U.S. Open play and no finals action. Thank you, Derek. We
Thanks, Derek.
appreciate
Thanks
it.
for tuning
I,
in.
I think it's Derek. I think it's got to be Derek.
Okay. TJ, I don't know if X gets into these flame wars over text with Alex Monroe. And
I gotta sit him down.
okay, I just don't understand it. Now, Alex is wrong on a lot of things, but it's like, dude, I thought you two were friends.
Let's go on to the next comment. We just flame each other. It's fine.
James Farrell goes, guys, who is the next coach? I don't know. Jason Kidd, they got a big no on that. It's like everybody they want to interview, they're just being told no. Maybe they go back to Tom Thibodeau, who led them to the Eastern Conference Finals with an inferior roster. I mean, I don't know.
Tom Thibodeau wouldn't be a bad spot for him.
Well, they just fired him. So I'm saying he's not.
Bring him
going.
back. Bring him back.
Think about a dysfunctional franchise, right? Derek Monroe says, why in the wide world of sports wouldn't they have a finals game of either sport on Father's Day?
Good question.
I don't like how the NHL playoffs and the NBA playoffs, once you get to the finals, you have 2-day breaks, 3-day breaks. Dude, play it every other day like you've been doing since the playoffs started.
Okay,
That's
I
what
can
the
see
people-
where it's a little bit of a struggle in the NHL, seeing as you're flying from Florida to
I don't give a
Edmonton.
shit.
Oh my
It's a man sport. It's a battle of attrition. Stop it. The best team survives. Stop giving these teams so many day breaks in between.
You wonder why? That's why. Okay,
They're trying to milk it for money. That's why.
that's it. Yeah, because they really get viewership on the days that they're not playing games. You're right.
They space it out to try to keep the shitty teams like Edmonton in the games.
Oh my God.
Series would already be over. They do
Freedom
all the
Fund
rest
That's
they
They
can.
take bribes. That's when they take bribes. Come on.
We believe it or not, we have other topics we still need to cover, Grumpy. So
Dude,
let's
oh
stay
my
somewhat on
gosh.
topic.
Freedom Fund Adventure goes, wow, they screwed somebody again on Father's Day.
They screwed
Again.
Grumpy again on
Grumpy
Father's
again
Day.
on
Grumpy.
Father's
You-
Day.
Fucking Grumpy.
Okay,
I hope Doc-
DEUMOY is not
Okay, enough. Shh. I hope Doc Page and Liza screwed TJ over.
They did not.
I bet they did not.
Alexander.
Palmieri is not on a bad contract. He got less than he made the year prior. He sucks and he's finished. He had
Why are you
7
giving
points in
contracts
20
to-
games after Brock Nelson got traded. That's it. No.
Yeah.
Freedom Fund Adventure goes, I think Sun-X will be a top flight bastard pass rusher. You just need to replace the quarterback with the
A top
refrigerator.
flight, badass pass rusher. You just need to replace the quarterback with a refrigerator, and no offensive line could stop him.
Oh, okay, X. I need to ask you. We talked about this on the Honest Never Said Die podcast. Do you think Grumpy needs glasses? Is it his eyes that are going, or is it like his something else is going?
I told him it's dementia today.
See the abuse I take.
Is that what you said? Is Happy Father's Day? I think your dementia's kicking in, Grumpy.
Well, I had to tell him Happy Father's Day 15 times because he kept forgetting. I told him.
Alexander says once again, Florida is shutting down the Oilers and the future Islander number 97.
Ooh. There must be a number 97 in the stands or something.
McDavid, your Freedom from Adventure says here, I really enjoy listening to TJ discuss how son X often doesn't measure up to their dad. I'm just going to leave that right here.
Sons, don't try and just
dad.
throw me in there. Put yourself in there too, bum.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Do you think TJ? Oh, you think maybe he's got dementia because he gets one comment read, and he fucks it up.
No, he just didn't have hooked on phonics. He just can't read.
I'll be honest with you. That was intentional. I said something.
Oh, there we go. It was intentional.
Hold on. Put it back up. Why'd you take it down? You didn't even get to finish it. Put it back up.
Oh, shit, now I gotta find it.
Mario said, I kind of disagree, Grump.
Hold on.
Okay.
We'll put it back up for you.
I'll read it because it needs to be read correctly.
Oh, God.
I really enjoyed listening to TJ discuss how sons often don't measure up to their dad. I am just going to leave it right there.
Okay, there was no
right here.
I'm just going to leave that right here is what he says. That's what's written down. Oh, my God.
It had more impact the way I read it.
Mario says, I kind of disagree.
Saying that you're a failure.
I kind of disagree, Grump. McDavid and Draisaitl skate around like they are, they're wearing non-contact vests. How many times do both of them need to be laid out, and the Panthers just let them skate by?
Absolutely. Could have been hammering the shit out of them. They have not. And let me tell you something. Edmonton's absolutely tried some dirty shit at the end of games when they've been getting their asses blown out. They've absolutely been trying shit. Their
asses blown out, huh?
That's right. Their asses were blown out. And in the last game, they let 10 seconds run out the clock when them just scrambling. I don't even know where the hell the puck was. Nobody knew. The officials were all over there, and the clock just ran out. Who knows where the puck was? I don't know. Drew says, by the way, happy Father's Day, TJ and Grumpy. Thank you, Drew.
Thanks, Drew.
Drew also adds, any team that is Corey Perry and makes the Stanley Cup final is cursed. That's going to be 4 years in a row. Perry has made the Cup final and lost. True.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
And I think he comes back next year with Edmonton.
He's
not been the problem for them. Damn it.
TJ is throwing you to the wolves instead of being a proper older brother and leader.
True.
TJ,
wait, hold on. Do you mind reading that word over again?
What do you mean?
The one in between the and instead.
Woofs.
That's what he said. Wolf. You sound like Ryan.
No, the wolves.
Wolf. I'm right from Wolf.
It's wolves.
Wolves.
By the way,
he's throwing you the wolves.
Wolves.
Fuck.
He's throwing
I'll
you
read
the wolves.
It. Damn X. TJ's throwing you to the wolves instead of being a proper older brother and leader. TJ, you should guide X for at least 2 Islander Never Say Die and TJ and the Grumpy shows. So that's 4. You should.
I have been trying to help him.
He's
trying to give him the initiative to do this.
You have not been. Because you're a freaking tyrant. You have not worked with him. Total only 2 weeks. That's right.
That's too much.
James Farrell says, TJ, sounds like you want X to fail. That's exactly what he wants.
He wants himself to look good. But don't worry. I will overcome and adapt.
I know X.
I will be the new head of the show. Actually, no, Grumpy will be the head of the show.
It's interesting that people feel that TJ sounds like he wants X to fail. He's unwilling to be a leader. He is the Rafael Devers of this podcast.
I've been asking Grump to teach me up on the Islanders. I asked him. Did I not ask you that today?
He absolutely said, but it's hard. You kind of have to watch.
Hey, tell me what I need to know in 3 hours about the Islanders, including their history.
Yeah, it's tough. It's hard.
You know what it's like? It's like watching somebody come in and say, "Oh, I'm going to be the greatest. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to go ahead and win the state championship. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to win the Super Bowl." But he doesn't put any of the work in, doesn't put any of the effort in, and expects just to show up and be able to do it. I know X a lot better than anybody else does here.
The podcast. I'm going to show you how great I am. All right.
Muhammad Ali put a lot of work in outside the podcast, and I'm not sure you put any work inside
I
outside
was with
the podcast.
Grumpy today hitting the speed bag, was I not?
He was hitting.
He
did ask me. I'm like, he's like, I know this Darsh guy. You don't like him.
I said he sucks.
And he's like, and he's like these
the Lamanites.
The Lamanites. I said, no, that's Phil. He used to be the leader of the Lamanites. Now he's the leader of the Philistines.
The Philistines.
You see what I mean? He doesn't pay attention. He never has. He's supposed to be starring comments for us for the last 2 years, and he doesn't know who the Lamanites have been switched to the Philistines. He doesn't know anything we've talked about with Darsh. X has a long
I've
way
listed
to go
on
in a
Darsh. You
short-
hate him. You said he hasn't done anything, and
Oh,
he
I don't hate
sucks.
him.
He didn't sign any players. He didn't do any. Yeah,
Free, hold on. Free
Yes, you
agency
did.
hasn't even started yet, X.
You said he hasn't done anything.
Okay, X.
You said by
no,
him
that's
signing
not-
back the 2 scrubs that he's done poor decisions.
He rubber stamped decisions that were already
Yes.
made by the prior general
Sign back
manager.
2 scrubs. Exactly what I just said.
X, you
Old
gotta
dumb
listen.
and bald to young dumb and bald. That's the difference.
I don't care at all if X fails. I hope he succeeds, but I know
He
X.
doesn't care if X fails.
He doesn't.
Boy, that's a
I
really
have
good
I have a sinking feeling that X will not take it as seriously as he should. That's what I think.
All right, Shoei, we understand you got bets laid down. All right.
Oh,
You know what? I'm happy. I'll be happy when X could show up there, not watch TV for an episode, be completely dialed in and ready to go and prepped. I'll be happy when he could do that.
Mario says, TJ, I bet Scott Stevens would have let McDavid perform pirouettes around the ice like he does. You can't even look at him hard. You're going to get a penalty. Scott Stevens would have knocked his ass out. McDavid he probably would have been like a 100-point scorer back in the day. But here's the thing. I don't think McDavid's a pussy, though. I absolutely don't.
No, he's not. He's not.
He's not. Drew says, look, we all know Florida's closing this out in game 6. Should have had 5. Had Bennett didn't pull an Islanders special and missed a wide open net in game 4. It was overtime. Yeah, that's right. It hit I did see that, and I'm like, holy crap. How did you not bury that?
All right, so an Islander special is missing wide open shots. I got that down.
Yeah, pretty much. You got to remember that.
I'm learning.
How many Islander players can you name?
Okay, they've changed the team up so much. From
Okay,
when,
but
like,
just
Full
they really
stop.
haven't
They
changed
have
the
not
team up.
changed the team up.
They really haven't changed the team. up.
okay, Brock Nelson.
Matt,
I remember
hold
him.
Brock Nelson's gone.
Okay, see, they've changed the team up.
Hold on.
But he's been gone
Mute.
for-
Al Palmieri.
Hold on. I gotta mute you both here. Hold on, I muted you both. X lists the one player that they did move away, and he's like, we haven't changed the team up very much. He names the one player that has been moved away. Let's keep going. You're off to a good start, X.
Okay, I have one thing to say. Should we save this for the Islanders Never Say Die show on Wednesday night?
No, I don't want. I don't
Because
want it to
we
be,
can still ask it, and I don't think you're still
I don't
muted.
want
Ed.
him to be looking like he's a fool. So no,
Okay, but I think he'd do research in between.
no. Anyway,
You got to unmute yourself, X. Got to unmute yourself.
I'd probably know the guys in the minors too by next show.
There you go. Look at that. See, he's preparing. All right, seriously, can you name any Islander players? I think he can.
Barzal, I know Barzal. Do
Barzal?
they still have Varlamov?
Yes, technically still. with the team.
Sorokin is the goalie.
Very
I know
good.
that.
Yes.
Oh shit.
You named one there.
Cal Clutterbuck. Is he still
He's
on?
gone.
retired.
He
Damn it.
retired
Retired
last
years
year.
ago.
Shit. Okay, so I had him until last year.
Okay, I should take 2 away because you named guys who are off the team. But that's
Have
okay.
you
I'll
not
give you
been
3.
listening to? You have been starring our comments for the last 2 years. You should be able to name
I'm gonna be
3
honest, brother. I
players.
put you on mute.
He
I
puts
know
you
you
on
do.
mute
I could-
rather than listen to you.
I could tell by how the comments are starred. You put us on mute.
And you mentioned somebody earlier that you just mentioned before.
Pajot, right?
Pajot is still with the team. Another guy with a P you just mentioned earlier.
Al Palmieri.
That's right.
I
And
listed
one
him
other-
earlier today.
One other guy we talked about on the show. He's a defenseman.
Noah Dobson.
There you go. There's 6. He's got 6. That's better than
Yeah,
I
look at that. Look at me go. Who else is that? There was another guy who was there the last time we saw him. I can't remember what his name is now. Shit. I don't know.
Josh Bailey.
He's no longer with the team.
Oh, there
I know
you
he got
go.
traded. I know he got traded away.
Bonus point for X.
Yeah. I know Bailey's gone. I'm
He
trying to
got
think.
traded away. He got traded away from the Islanders and never played again. Interesting.
X, you have
fired
a
the goal.
lot. You've got a lot of research.
What
to be
What do you
done
mean?
here
You not
on
hear me
this
just
series.
whipping off the names like that? I know them all.
Are there any average players on the team?
Oh, Andrews Lee. I thought I already named him.
No, you did not.
Oh,
Okay,
average Andrews.
let's
I
get-
know average Andrews.
You can engage in this type of quizzing and questioning X outside of show hours. We still have, again, as I mentioned, other topics I want to
Your
introduce.
other
We're an
topics
hour and 45
suck.
minutes in.
Your
Okay.
other topics suck.
Okay, Drew
He's a
says
stick 'em.
Cup window will close once they pay McDavid $18 million per year for the next 8 years. I think their window is open one more year. Because when his contract, then you're going to have Bouchard's contract is coming up.
Nurse.
Nurse is still getting paid, but
I still get paid.
I think when you have Bouchard and you have McDavid, that's going to be another $15 million on the cap right there. Draisaitl's contract is kicked in, but they have some guys aging as well, so it's hard to add.
$25 million total. It's going to be more than 20. Bouchard and McDavid together going to be more than $25 million.
But I'm just saying, on top of McDavid's going to make what, another 6 or 7, or 7 million based on what he's making now.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. So I just think that there's one more year, I think, where they can truly compete with this group. One more year. Next comment, please. Gungun says, "Is this the worst goaltending in Stanley Cup history? Will the end resulting glory?" I don't think this is the worst goaltending we've ever seen in the NHL history. Stanley Cup.
Gungun, that was not very rhymey. I was out of character for you. Usually you have a little.
And gory. Will it be gory? Will the end result be gory? History, gory. It's not your best work, Gungun.
Not your best work, Gungun, but a good attempt. Yes, bad goaltending.
Yes, here we go.
Yes, I had this on the list to discuss today as well.
Okay, then do we want to just pass this by and talk about it?
No, let's talk about it right now.
Are we really going to not discuss Antonio Brown being wanted for attempted murder? Is anyone surprised?
No.
Okay.
Yes, he was wanted by the police for attempting murder there and charged in Miami-Dade County for shooting at a celebrity boxing event last month.
That was the Aiden Ross boxing event.
I didn't know he was shooting at people on that.
Somebody stole his chain and he went and shot at him.
We're going to mute that because I'm sure there's a lot of just chaos. Just imagine chaos. He does grab the gun from a security guard. And that's where the attempted murder comes into here's Antonio Brown. There's Antonio Brown running off with the gun.
Do you wonder how you stop that? You don't wear your chains to an event like that.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Somebody stole his chain or something like that.
What are you thinking, Antonio Brown? Okay, when I saw it the other day, was I really surprised? I can't say, I expected that to happen, but when I saw it, I'm like, okay, I'm not really surprised.
How many times do we say, this is the last time we're going to talk about Antonio Brown. This is the last time. But he always finds a way to put himself back into the news, and not for good reasons.
True. JP says Florida owns the slot in this series. Damn it.
They do.
They
do.
They're a team built to win Stanley Cups. They are. Freedom Front Revenge goes, I read that the Islanders would have won the 5th Stanley Cup, but the NHL changed the travel schedule to benefit Edmonton that year. And then the next year, we went back to a normal schedule. Okay. That's not why the Islanders lost that series. They were really banged up. I still thought they were going to win 5 in a row. I didn't think they were going to lose to Edmonton, but that's because I was a young fan. And you don't think your team's ever going to lose, right? But hindsight being 2020, they were severely banged up in that last run for the Cup. And think about how many games they played, an extra season's worth of games over those 4 years. So it's tough. It's tough.
I did want to. I'll let you read this here, and then I want to show a few more topics that I wanted to discuss here.
And I can tell we're going to be talking about our boy Debo.
That's right.
Drew says back in the 70s.
Did you not read this?
No, I accidentally deleted this one first, so that's why I put it back up. The next one comes up next.
Drew says back in the 70s, pitchers weren't pitching. They were drinking pitchers of alcohol in the dugout. That is not true, Drew. Sorry.
Wow, the 70s sounds like a crazy time, Grumpy.
It was a crazy time. It absolutely was.
Here's Deebo Samuel. Now, scary Terry McLaurin is sitting out right now during mandatory camp. He is not participating. He wants a new contract.
Do you not blame him, though? Do you not blame him?
I don't blame him. No, he's performed. Here's the thing, though. What always happens when these guys demand a new contract? They're usually finished because they're just going to cash in and they know they're kind of done. They want to guarantee some money and then they ride off into the sunset.
He is not finished.
How old's Terry McLaurin?
26.
No, he's older than that.
I don't think so.
I'll pull up his age.
I think
he's 29 years old.
Okay.
He's 29 years old. He turns 30. He turns 30 this give you the exact birthday. I'm sorry. He's 29. I know that. He turns
They
30
gave
in September. He'll turn 30 this year.
okay. They gave Debo Samuel a big contract extension, did they not?
No, they traded for Debo, didn't they?
But I think they gave him a contract extension also.
No, they traded for him. They didn't give him a new contract on top. Oh, they gave him a 1 year, $17.5 million contract.
Okay, who's worth more money right now? Let's say Terry McLaurin, who's the consummate professional for that team. He absolutely is.
Yep.
Very dependable. He's not a loudmouth. He's not a troublemaker. Or Captain Fatty McButterpants here running this pass pattern.
McButterpants.
Look at how big he is.
Yikes.
Oof.
He looks like a
He looks
fullback.
like he's like he does. He looks like an undersized tight end. Like oof.
H-back, a big H-back.
Oh my God. He's definitely put on some weight.
He certainly doesn't look like a wide receiver. Let's just say that, right?
Oh my God.
He looks.
He's got a gut on him as a wideout, which is just shocking to me.
He looks
The one
slow.
position you've got to have a 6-pack. You've got to be just ripped to ribbons as a wide receiver, and he just looks like he is not in prime shape right now. Not saying he won't be by the start of camp.
And
or
I
by the
like
start of the
Debo
season.
Samuel. I like Debo Samuel as a player. I really do.
Just look at him. My
But-
God.
I'll say this: he's had a history of injury issues, right, with hamstrings and stuff like that. You would think he'd be smarter. When you have more weight on you, you're more prone to muscle pulls and injuries like that.
Hamstring tears specifically. I mean, once you pull a hamstring, it's the famous thing is you're more prone always to pull hamstrings in the future. And I don't know. Just doof. Not
Agreed.
good.
100%
Not
agreed.
good. They're in trouble. McLaurin, he wants a contract extension.
How many more
What are you
years
gonna
does
do?
he have left on his deal? That's my whole
I'll
thing.
tell you.
I mean, because you can say he's really good, and he's a guy he hasn't lost anything.
They want to give him a lifetime contract.
Okay, what's
They
the
want to
problem?
have him for. This is the last year of his deal.
Okay, so he wants a contract extension. Give it to him. If
How much you
wanna-
pay him?
$20 million a year, 25.
Wow. Don't ever let Grumpy near the freaking NFL GM office.
How much you think he's going to get?
Doesn't matter how much he's gonna get.
Okay, but it does matter. It does matter because these guys look at what wide receivers are making now. That's a small
Here's the thing.
contract. How
You're
much of Chris
You're
Godwin?
a 30-year-old wide receiver whose game is predicated on speed and reaction. I'm not
Okay.
paying a guy who's on the wrong side of 30, who's not even the quickest guy out there, not the fastest guy, a huge contract like that. It's just not happening.
Okay, Chris Godwin. Look at the contract he just signed, coming off of a dislocated freaking ankle that he got from Tampa, and look at his age. He is
Same age.
he's
Same
the
age.
same
29.
age. Okay, dislocated ankle. How much money is he making this year?
Okay, he played 7 games and had 576 receiving yards. He was averaging, was it like 82 receiving yards a game?
I'm just saying, how much money is he making? What's his last? The contract he just signed with Tampa? I know he was offered over $30 million a year by the New England Patriots. This offseason, he was offered that
3
money.
years, $66 million.
So $22 million a year. So how am I so far off saying 20 to 25 million a year? You make it sound like I'm off. Salary cap's going up again.
It's a bad decision. It's a bad business move.
You think a 3-year deal, getting a wide receiver of Terry McLaurin's character and skill set for $25 million a year is a bad deal? I'm sorry, you're wrong. Look at the Ridley guy got $25 million last year. Who's a better wide receiver, Calvin Ridley or Terry McLaurin?
Just because one team is making multiple bad
But every
decisions
team
doesn't
is
mean you
doing
do
that.
it.
That's the price of doing business now. Jamar Chase is making what, $40 million a year?
Jamar Chase is the number one wideout in the league.
Okay, well so you think he's twice as good as Terry McLaurin?
Yes.
Okay, but you're going to have to pay Terry. You're going to have to pay these guys. It's the price of it's what the market is now. Wide receivers are getting paid ridiculous money. I'm not saying it's deserved, but to think that it's not going to happen, I don't know what to tell you. Freedom Fund Reds goes, Son X, do you know your father's laziness by being butt show buddies with a psychopath Phils is going to destroy both shows? No one is sticking around for Phils. He's horrible. Freak.
Oh my God. Those are some very strong words.
This is SGA. Gilgeous Alexander. Again, like this is the thing that makes people hate, and I mean hate watching the NBA Finals. This type of stuff here.
Gets up as soon as he's got his left arm. Shea is just so good. He feels that immediately.
How is this? And I'll put it in slow-mo because it speeds through it.
It's the
Just
James Harden thing. They're not supposed to call that anymore.
Well, they did.
They've been giving him the advantage of this all the time.
I mean, if he's kicking that leg out, that should not be a
No,
foul.
he's talking about the left arm was on his arm as he was going up to shoot.
I'll put it super slow-mo for you, Grumpy.
Look at his left arm. Look at the left arm of the guy for the Pacers.
So you notice he's got a hand on him? Great. I'm just going to go up and pretend like I'm going to shoot. It didn't impact the shot at all. Not at all. And, hey, I'm going to go ahead and get 2 free throws.
Well, then stop calling it.
You know what I'd do? I'd really undercut his ass, and I'd hope that he'd break his leg clean in half, and then he won't do that shit again.
It is worth.
Yeah, I feel bad. Yeah, I feel bad for Halliburton. He's a good player.
Through 3 NBA Finals games. Now, I think he had a free throw in the 4th game. Halliburton had 0 free throw attempts in 3 games.
Now, here's the thing. I don't watch a whole lot of Indiana Pacer games. He's mostly a perimeter guy. He doesn't drive the basket, though, right?
Well, this is, I mean, would you consider this a foul?
Yeah, I would call that foul, but that doesn't mean you go to the free throw line. I don't know what the situation was that's called. I mean, unless they're over the limit, that's.
Well, I think they're saying that they didn't even call it a foul.
They didn't call that a foul.
In the comments.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they're openly rooting for either team, by the way.
I think they absolutely want the Oklahoma City Thunder to win.
Because
they want Gilgeous Alexander to win. I mean, the kid is just.
Again, look at the commercial that they keep pumping out there all the time.
I don't know any of those guys.
It's all 3 of the ones we watched it today. Because guess what? It's the only damn commercial that they show for the NBA. And it's the 3 guys on this freaking team. So that's who they want to win.
Okay.
Maximize that ad revenue, baby.
All right, X. Calm down now.
When I watch stuff like that, though, I'm like, this is the reason why the NBA is just viewership drops year over year.
Do you have anything? All right, let me touch on this first. Drew says TJ was grumpy guest pass to the gym, stolen valor.
Whoa! Stolen valor, Grump.
It was not. And what did I say as I worked out? What did I say to you?
You just kept saying, "Oh man, this is so embarrassing. This is
absolutely." That's not stolen valor. It's not like I said, "Man, I'm great."
I said, "Who cares?" I said, "Who cares?"
It was
Grump was over the flex in the mirrors, and they had to ring the lunk alarm on.
No, that wasn't happening. I was like, "Holy shit, this is bad." I was embarrassed. Honestly, I was embarrassed.
You should be taking him to the gym, X, but you haven't been doing that.
X, did you ever cancel that gym membership that you didn't use for 2 full years?
I canceled it a while ago. By the way, Empire, the hat I'm wearing is Real Madrid.
Okay. Drew says, hey, TJ, it's okay. I held a frat record for most tacos eaten in a night with 21. And guess what? I'm still not fat. Recently, I've even lost 10 pounds.
Maybe you need 21 tacos.
Congratulations.
Tacos. I could probably do that.
Okay. We already read that comment.
Yeah.
TJ, do you have anything on the Brittany Griner conversation about Caitlin Clark and the fans in the WNBA?
I can pull it up.
Please pull that up. Well, first of all, I don't care about what she said about Caitlin Connell. She did say effing white girl, and people are trying to make that a racial thing, which I just think I don't give a shit about that.
Honestly. Caitlin who? Caitlin Connell?
Caitlin Clark.
You said Caitlin Connell.
Caitlin Clark. The only one who matters in the WNBA. She said effing white girl. I don't, like I said, that shit don't bother me. But she did make a comment about the fans and how she feels. You have to read the comment. It's embarrassing for her to call herself a professional athlete.
I keep going through comments. I'm going to pull this up.
Freedom Fighter Adventure goes, does the warden have problems sleeping, worrying about when time travel is invented that Livy Dunn will use it to travel back in time and steal Grumpy. Wow.
Grumpy doesn't even know who Livy Dunn is.
Sure she is. She's the hot babe who's banging Paul Skeens.
Oh, he knows. Wow.
The ex-LSU gymnast.
Oh, my God.
Wham!
Yeah.
There you go.
You want to know why?
Scary.
It's one of the women's sports that Grumpy follows. That's why.
When Grumpy starts to read, hold on, TJ. Brace for impact. That's a good comment. I don't know what it was in particular about.
It was talking about y'all reading, trying to.
Oh, okay. Gugu says, Sun X, will the transition be smooth? Grumpy, how long till Sun X finds his groove? Those are both X questions.
I'd say the transition might be a little bumpy at first because, I got to figure out everybody's, the way that they flow together. And then I'll give it probably like 2 shows. Then I'll be right in the groove of things.
2 shows. There you go.
Shows. Yeah, 2 shows.
It'll probably be a little bumpy. X will be a little nervous. Don't worry. Don't worry, X. I'll help you out.
I'm probably going to need to get a new computer, honestly, if I'm doing this.
You probably should.
Yeah, because this one just like craps out every time I pull up multiple web pages at the same time. It sounds like a fighter jet taking off. So probably need to get a new computer.
Yeah, get a new one. That's it. Nothing wrong with that, X.
I think this is it right here, but let's watch.
You said you didn't remember what you said during that viral moment after you fouled out against the Indiana Fever.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people believe what you said was effing white girl or effing white girls.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible that's what you said?
No, would never say that.
She's
Like,
a
there's
man.
no place for that in our
She's
league.
a man. I never heard her talk before.
I don't care that she said effing white girls. Don't care.
So even though you can't remember, you know that was not what you
I know
said.
it wasn't that because I wouldn't use that type of language.
Okay.
That's a man. She's a man. It's a man.
Well, let's play a little bit of let's watch.
Absolutely, that's what she said. Absolutely, that's what he said. Absolutely, that's what he said.
I don't care that he said that, by the way.
Me neither. But that's not the comment. It's a comment that.
Are you sure it's not like an Al item, Grumpy?
Oh,
I
it's
searched it, I didn't
absolutely
find
not.
anyone.
It's absolutely not.
Thanks for coming prepared to the show and let me know you want to talk about this.
X, do you know what offsides means?
Yes, I do.
What does it mean, X?
That is when you pass the puck forward and one of your players is across the blue line and the puck crosses it.
Before when?
The puck crosses it and then they get the puck.
Okay, pretty good.
Do you have that pulled up on Wikipedia? Can you give me the exact?
I know what offsides is. Come on. I know what icing is.
What's icing?
It's when you clear the puck from your zone all the way down the ice and the defender cannot get to it before it crosses the red line that goes through the net.
Well, actually, not from your own zone, as long as you're on your
side of the blue. If you're on your side of like the blue line.
The what line?
The blue line, right? Or the red line. Sorry, the red line and
right.
the face-off line right there.
That's right.
Yeah, look at that. TJ's so excited. Look at
that, X.
Woo!
X, bringing the knowledge. Woo! I think you're going to probably have some more questions like that.
I probably will.
People are going to test you a little bit.
Okay, I think the last time I played hockey was when I was like 5?
No, you were like 7, I think.
Okay. I guess, 7, maybe. Yeah, it's been a while.
It has been a while. Drew says he doesn't care, X. There you go, right there. He doesn't care. He came out and said he didn't care.
That's all right. With no help from TJ, I'm going to make this probably going to be the number. It's probably be bigger than Joe Rogan's podcast.
Oh, wow.
I hope it is.
It will be. And
no,
then you won. Oh, please let me back. Ooh.
It doesn't. He's always rooted for you to fail, X. Ever since you got your first
on my downfall.
He is. Like when he got his first haircut, he cried like a little bitch. And
he's like, oh, I want to see him cry.
And when X was getting his first haircut, he was so happy. He's gonna cry. And X didn't cry, and TJ was like, he was all crestfallen. Oh no. Ooh. Like somebody killed his dog. Ooh.
10 toes down, I stood tall.
Oh, look at that.
Shit. Grumpy, there's nothing about Caitlin Clark and Brittany Griner.
No, it's Brittany Griner talking about the WNBA fans.
You said Caitlin Clark.
Oh my God, dementia.
Okay, keep reading comments.
Although I will back up Grumpy. It was funny that I just said that. Grumpy absolutely told you Brittany Griner talking about the fans. He did not say Caitlin Clark. So maybe you're suffering from dementia.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or you just have selective hearing. One of the two.
That's it. I'm going to go with dementia. Freedom Fund Adventure says, I thought the story about Grumpy being at the gym with Grumpy was going to be TJ. I left his weight unattended and he came back and the old lady was using TJ's weights. No. Drew says, TJ, since this is your last TJ and Grumpy show, I can revolutionize how you can talk to X. Anytime you want to little bro X, just call him Sonny X.
Sonny X.
Freedom Fund Adventure goes, how have we never heard the TJ IHOP story before?
Yeah,
There's a lot of stories we never
He was
heard.
eating them like they were going out of style.
Man, I tell you.
Honestly, I told him, breathe.
When TJ eats, there's like sparks coming off the knife and fork.
Yep, absolutely is.
Mario says, no fan fights for all time's sake.
No fan fights on the docket.
I don't know. I guess maybe. I didn't think.
I'm sure there's probably one at one of the soccer games that probably happened. It probably was at least one.
JP said the 2-3-2 format was for both the 84 and 85 NHL playoffs. They went back to the 2-2-1-1-1 in 86 when Montreal won. Did Montreal win the cup in 86?
I'll look it up.
I didn't think they won in 86. Maybe they did. I'm not quite sure. Next comment, please, Mr. Ray.
Montreal defeating the Calgary Flames 4-1. Yes.
Okay.
Also, another. This isn't really interesting, but kind of sad. But did y'all hear about the guy who fell during the Spain-Portugal game? He fell from like the top row and ended up dying.
Oh, that's
no. Don't need to hear that. Didn't know it. No. Anyway, let's move.
Sorry, dead guy. You're not worth a mention on this show.
We're talking about sports, not guys falling from stands.
Oh man, I can make a really crappy joke right now, and I'm not going to do it.
I'm happy you're not.
I'm not going to.
Good constraint.
And it's referencing what you have up right now.
Okay. Atlanta's suburban Forsyth County has approved a $3 billion development featuring an 18,000-seat NHL-ready arena for a new franchise. Both of Atlanta's previous NHL franchises left for Canada. Well, maybe Maybe that's another way for Canada to get a seventh franchise.
Can you believe Atlanta is going to be having their third expansion team potentially?
No, that's what I was going to say was, are we really beating a dead horse again?
Oh, God.
Yeah. No, that comment wasn't that bad. I mean, that's the way for Canada to get a seventh, to get an eighth franchise. That's the way you do it. Because there is no way on God's green earth that Atlanta's to get another shot. Atlanta is just not a hockey town. Sorry, it's not.
Hey, you know what is it?
The Flames, the Thrashers,
okay.
And that will fail.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. And then what is it? Fool me three times.
Okay, Atlanta, I don't think is a sports town.
No,
the Falcons don't draw. The Braves don't draw. The Falcons don't draw.
The Bulldogs do.
Who?
Georgia
Bulldogs do.
Okay, yeah, they're in Athens. They're not in Atlanta.
Yeah.
The Atlanta Hawks don't draw. Nobody draws in that city. They just don't.
Draw.
They don't.
Oh no, basketball. Yeah, sorry.
They don't go. They don't go. Sorry.
You know, I feel like the Braves games have a good amount of people that go.
Absolutely not. They do not draw.
You don't think so?
For how good that team has been for how many years, they should sell out all the time. They don't. Drew says, you know, now what I think about, since this is a sports related, TJ, find the clip of I Show Speed absolutely dusting Ashton Hall on grass.
Do you know who Ashton Hall is, Grump?
I thought he was maybe a running back.
No.
Okay, I have no idea.
He's like this guy who wears this vest or whatever and runs. Like that's his big thing, is like there's like video of him slow-mo running all the time. And he claimed that he was faster than I Show Speed. I Show Speed beat him 4 times.
I don't know.
Ashton Hall played at like Alcorn State, some small Division II school or Division whatever. I don't know what they are, Division III, whatever it is. He played football there. He is known as like an influencer. He does like I got a brand. I don't know what Grumpy's doing, but he's muted himself. He does like a morning routine where he wakes up at 5 o'clock in the morning, he dunks his face in ice cold water and he runs, and he's all about like the aesthetic of what he's doing. He's a big guy strength wise, so he's got a lot more muscle mass than I Show Speed, and he got dusted every single time he raced him. The guy was like crying about it. It's pretty sad.
Yeah, you could not accept a loss.
It hurts his brand.
It
His brand
does.
is I'm super fast. I'm the running guy. So Grumpy, I don't know if you have us pulled up or you can hear us, but you're still on mute. So
Grumpy, you're on mute.
I'm fully aware I'm on mute. I'm trying to find the Brittany Griner comment.
It doesn't exist. You're wrong. That's okay. Let's move on.
Okay, I'm not wrong. She basically, what she said was in a tweet that
Who gives a shit?
the
Still talking
WNBA
WNBA?
fans, they think that we're here to entertain them, and that used to be these fans are always yelling at us. It used to be where they could maybe get some work done.
That was a quote from a really long time ago, Grump.
Well, that's what I wanted to hear. That's what we want to talk about.
Okay, Grumpy.
Stephen A. Smith was talking about
WNBA.
this week.
No
That
more
was a quote from
WNBA.
like a long time, like months and months and months ago.
They were talking about this week.
Okay, well, it was a long time ago.
Grumpy, you can't bring up something that was not relevant for months, and then one person talked about it and expect us to be able to pull it up on show if you haven't done prep work. So let's watch.
Well, I'm glad X is running the show. Now I'm going to be able to do whatever I want. I'm going to run rough with that show content.
Enjoy talking WNBA with him, okay?
Who are these two clowns?
I should
Let's get this shit right. It's over for you. Go. He's slow as fuck. He's slow as fuck. Fuck this nigga. I'm out. Fuck out here.
We may just turn the volume off.
Hold on. So this is the type of content you want to put on the show? I talk about something that actually happened, and these two clowns. And
Whoa. Drew was the one who brought it up, okay?
These racial epithets, I don't believe in that. Why are they running in their feet, bare feet?
Oh, because they're racing each other. They're racing each other.
I
Long
thought
story
one was gonna
short,
fall in the street.
he lost. Long story short, he lost. The guy
He
who's
could
jacked,
not-
who made his entire career off of running, or at least he made his online personality off of running, lost
Can I
every
just say
time he
one
raced
thing?
him.
They're both pretty fast, I think, right?
They are both pretty fast, yeah. They would
Okay.
absolutely beat me in a race.
It'd be like you making your career off of, I'm lifting a lot of heavy weights, and somebody who doesn't lift weights comes and just absolutely destroys you when you're challenging.
Okay,
them.
well,
They were
speed
betting-
race Jamie Carragher and absolutely cooked him.
They were betting tens of thousands of dollars on each race. So, all right, let's get through more comments here. The rest of these comments here, X.
Gungun says, in all honesty, I think Sun X will do well with catching on with the Islander players. It's only a matter of time till he's an NHL stat slayer.
That's right.
Looky there. I
X
like
is going
that
to start
one.
watching some games, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching them. I'm going to be all up on the team and stuff and know the rules and everything.
Drew says, Debo Samuel is now looking like Zion Diddy Williamson.
Oh, my God.
Jesus.
Oh, my God.
I was really stunned with how out of shape he was. But he was playing overweight last year.
I was
too.
about to say I wasn't based off of how he looked last year. I was not stunned.
They were saying he was listed at 229, but he was playing like 245, 250. Get in shape, buddy. JP says the Islanders really couldn't clog the neutral zone in the same way they did in 83 by 84 because they were beat to a pulp and slowed down in the year. Bobby Bourne, their fastest player, was out for the whole series. They were really banged up. They were. And JP adds, and Smitty finally had a less than stellar series in the finals in 84. Edmonton was just better by that time. They just were. And then JP said, Wally Harris retired. Harris was good for one New York Islander win, usually in every series. Wally Harris was a referee. Freedom Front Adventure goes, TJ, should you be criticizing anyone for not doing work on this show?
Yes.
Ooh. Freedom Front Adventure goes, Sun X, Darsh was the best choice and will be fine. He has a lot of problems to fix, created by a mean old bald bastard.
I do agree with that.
That what you think he's going to be a good job, or that?
I think there is a lot of problems that he inherited from shitty Lou Lamoriello, and I think ownership is hamstrung him a little bit. He's got to be a lion and not a mouse.
That's why he got the job. He's a mouse.
Correct.
Drew says, speaking of contract drama, the Buffalo Bills have gained even more of my respect with the whole James Cook situation. Cook thinks he's as good as Saquon and Derrick Henry. LOL. All hail Ray Davis. I like James Cook. He should not. There's no way he should be getting paid what the top flight running backs are. He's in the big moment when they need a yard. He's not going to get it for you. They got to go with Josh Allen. They should give Josh Allen James Cook's money. That's what they said.
Drew says, to be fair, the SGA clip is a foul. However, it is cheap. I'm saying that that type of item, when you officiate it that way, I think it just turns normal fans who are just looking to watch sports off. Just like certain things in the NHL drive normal fans crazy. Same thing.
Freedom for Adventure goes, they changed the team up so much. Son X, you're a lying piece of shit. This is the type of shit that you can expect, X.
Get a lot of hatred coming your way now, buddy. Good luck.
Drew says, Brittany Griner, more like Brittany Grinder. Never mind.
Grumpy doesn't know what that means, but next.
Freedom Fund Adventure goes, it's not just Grumpy's eyesight and reading that is concerning. He wants to give huge money to guys over 30. He is more emotional, no longer the curve, go with the flow, not understanding the landscape. I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
He's talking about you want to give big contracts to guys like Debo Samuel, and big contracts to guys like Terry McLaurin.
Contract. Terry McLaurin is worth, if you're going to tell me he's not worth 3 years, $25 million, I'm going to tell you you're wrong. Yeah. Terry McLaurin's a good wide receiver, and he's professional as hell.
I don't pay wideouts unless you're generational, over 30 years old.
Do we think that Jaden Daniels is going to fall off this year?
He's going to take a step back.
I think he absolutely is going to take a step back.
He might take a little bit of a step back, but I think he's damn good.
He's going to take a big step back.
I think if Terry McLaurin gets hurt, do you think he plays just as good as or the same way that Stroud did last year?
Well, okay, Stroud had all the weapons too, but Stroud
Nico Collins was out for pretty much the majority of the season. TJ,
simple as this. Look at all the quarterbacks that are improvisers, as I classify them as improvisers, and I think Jaden Daniels is more of a scrambler than an improviser. Second year and years going forward, they always struggle. Like Kyler Murray. First year, he's so great. He's the improviser. He could get. As they gather film on you, they found out a way to stop that shit. Jaden Daniels will be completely mediocre this season. Book it now. Book it now. My last show. Book it now. When you guys are talking about this come football season, mediocre.
It's so good. It's so good that TJ's last real official take will be just like all his others, dead wrong.
Shitty as hell. All
Drew
right.
says, look, Grumpy, just because you're out of touch with modern media ain't my problem. Well, Drew, it ain't your show, brother.
Oh, wham!
Shots James F.
I love you, Drew, anyway. Just playing. James Farrell goes, X, will you and do you know how you will get good guests on the show? How will you get good guests on? Maybe TJ could still do that. He's good at getting guests.
Yeah.
I have connections.
Oh, that's not true, but thanks. I like the confidence.
It.
Freedom Fun Adventure goes, Grumpy, it's okay to not feel comfy in the gym after a break. You will get over it fast and rapidly improve every 2 weeks. It was just from where it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. I'm just going to come out and say embarrassing. Freedom Fun Adventure grows. Grumpy. Okay, I just read that one. Next.
Last one.
Drew says, well, to be fair, TJ, Jaden McDaniels had a historic rookie season last year.
What did you just call him?
Jaden McDaniels.
You just called him Jaden McDaniels, is what you said.
He's Irish. He's Irish. Jaden McDaniels had a historic rookie season last year, and yet I bet on Daniels to do better, and even McDaniels too. Than last year. Book it. Drafted him on 2 of my fantasy teams already. Okay, Drew, if you'll
be quitting fantasy early this year because you'll be
picking
disappointed.
Fantasy teams this early, you're making a mistake. You never know who's going to be injured. Drew says, Grumpy, you sitting there on your high horse. I'll be replacing you soon.
Ooh,
hey, anything is possible.
Okay, so let's wrap it up. Grumpy, what do you want to say before we end the show?
I want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens and even those who don't. From TJ, Son X, and the grumpy old man.
X, what do you want to say?
Just want to appreciate everybody coming out and listening as always. Love the interaction in the comments, and we will see you guys next time.
Remember, there will be no show next Sunday. Next Sunday will be the last Islanders Never Say Die podcast show here. One more comment. Freedom from Adventure says here.
Hold on. The last Islanders Never Say Die podcast that you are on.
Yes, that I'm on. Correct. That I am on is next Sunday. That is correct. Grumpy will be continuing the show without me. Freedom from Adventure says here, did you hear Son X trying to weasel a new computer out of Grumpy? Grumpy, is he setting you up?
Yep.
He's going to hit you up for a new gaming computer. And Drew says, Bye, TJ. Keep in contact with me, you bald-headed jerk. Well, absolutely. Thanks, guys. Thank you for the fun. Thanks for the time. Thank you for all the fun laughs, comments, engagement over the years, talking sports. It's like we're at the bar with the buddies. So we've enjoyed it. I'll miss it. I'll still, I guess, talk to Grumpy and X about it. I'll just have to yell at them with their shitty takes that they're throwing out here left and right, because there's going to be no sane, rational person to talk sports and O-line with them. So, everybody's lost. But thank you, everybody, for watching the show. Thank you, Grumpy, as always. And I'm signing off here. Thanks, Grumpy. Thanks, X.
My pleasure.